But there's only one way to do it. You never lose it. There's only one way to do it. Looking for an answer, but I got no clue. This living for a woman is what I do. Ain't no fun to wait another day. Shooting like a starlight out of the sky, faster than the minutes of a TV eye. I better burn out before I'm blown away. But there's only one way to do it.
Listen. Welcome to Monday Night Toy Ramblings, where I actually took a well-deserved week off, but I came back. It's always my fear that if I miss a week, that no one's going to come back, and I'm not really sure why after doing this for approximately 2 years. I think starting in December or maybe late November. I can't really actually remember. Anyway, thank you guys all for joining in. I did need last week off. I talked about a lot of different things that you're going to learn from doing that 36-hour streamathon. And the thing that I learned is that next year, for the second annual one, I need to take that week off. We've all talked about the Joe Fest hangover. There were so many of us there. And the one thing that I learned is that being on stream for over 36 hours, putting everything together, it takes not just a physical but an emotional toll on you. And I need to take a short break after that. So next year, I will be taking that week off, just so you guys can plan to watch something else, and then I'll fill you in the next week. But I think I really needed that. And unfortunately, I did not do that. So, give me 1 second here. All right. So, tell me how you guys like the back here. I put up new shelves and I put some LED lights up, and now I just kind of have a nice glow rather than the big color in the back that I used to have, or the big bright. I can change it to, like, let's say green or red or white, but I like the blue best. I just always like that. It gives you a nice calming feeling. Same that I have that's behind my TV. Johnny Reno says it looks nice. Thank you very much. Same with the pretzel John. Thank you very much. Yeah, you know what? I'm always trying to change things, and you can only change so much. But you know what? You gotta try and make things a little bit different. It also I think actually, like, it makes the figures pop a little more, and I haven't finished doing everything because I made a lot more room for me. So hopefully it's going to it'll be a little bit better. You can still see Roman kind of wandering around. So anyway, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. We actually had a really nice weekend. I saw a lot of people getting the dragonflies. Last night, I got the notification that I left the building, but everything that I can tell from the FedEx app, that it has not been picked up yet. So who knows when I'll get it. Some people are loving it. I've heard Bobby B and is having some issues. I have not watched his video yet. I know a few people have shown off the canopy being an issue. I saw Savage Land had crazy legs that his legs snapped. That's pretty disappointing. If there's an issue with the canopy and it's on the actual frame of the Dragonfly, that is going to be a huge faux pas because you can't really fix that. You can't make a replacement part. And, you know, the hope is that everything goes out nice, but there are going to be defects we're seeing in other lines. But you can't fix frames, and that's a huge problem if that's actually something that's happening. So, but I'll know in like 2 weeks when mine eventually shows up. I just hate the fact that it hasn't actually shipped. So I don't know what day, and because it needs a signature, I have to redirect it. And the stories of people's just showing up without any label showing that it's created or anything like that, that worries me, because the last thing I need is for it to end up here and then to go back to FedEx, and then they're going to eventually ship it back. I like to redirect it to the FedEx station where I can just run over there, pick it up after work. Or if it's on the weekend, then I can just be here on the weekend and make sure I'm here so I can grab it. Anyway, but the weekend other than that was actually really nice. It would have been awesome to have it because it was really, really nice out. I would have gone out and take some pictures. I don't think it's going to be so nice. I think high 50s, maybe low 60s, but it's getting cloudy and windy and really crappy like that. Unfortunately, because that's just how it is in Michigan, and well, you can only expect so much. As for what I got in, I think you guys also saw the Nemesis Immortal review. I know there were some people that got it earlier than me, and some people got it later than me. It doesn't matter because no one can get it to stand properly, because unfortunately his fucking ankles don't bend more than 90 degrees, and well, that just kind of sucks. Um, Great designed figure, but man, those ankles have absolutely ruined it. Super wobbly. I know some other people said their waistline is wobbly. Mine is super disappointing. Greg dropped off the roof for the gridiron for the Stinger, which is actually pretty cool. It has a hatch. It actually moves up and down. It's crazy talk there. So I dropped that video. That was way better than I expected. They get a shot up. And then if you didn't see yesterday or this morning, I dropped a new video for Top Fun Retro 3D printed weapons. So check that out. If you like his weapons, you like what you're saying, be sure to use the code. Oh, yeah. I haven't added this code yet in the banner. I'll get to it eventually, I guess. But use the code Punk with Toys, drop the A, and you get 10% off anything they order from Top Fun. Really good weapons. I think this guy's going to do pretty well for himself. He's a Marine. So he's looking to retire within the next 6 months, and he's really doing a good job with these weapons. And you can have a lot of different weapons for not a huge price. So anyway, let's say hi to everyone that is already here. So we'll start with, we got Daredevil Dave here. Krusty O'Crow's in the house. We have Johnny Reno. Francis Brady is here. Daredevil Dave already said. Menhoza. We have Aaron the Toy Enhancer, who did an absolute wonderful Dragonfly diorama. It is beautiful. Check that video out. I mean, it looks awesome. We have Capitan is in the house here. I know we have more people. This was early on. We have Snow Wolf, who has joined us. Mr. Wonderful, Same Time Toys has joined us. PNC is here. We have Matthew Matson, my first moderator. Christoph Scuba, Black Genghis, part of the Terrordrome. Nolan, which now makes us Toy Tube official. We have my other moderator, Action Figs Ed. Thank you. Plastic Fantastic, who has generously donated a 3D printed Wolverine for Black Friday giveaway. Well, it was for raising so much money on the Streamathon. I still got to figure out how I'm going to do that. But I am going to do it, guys. Don't worry. Did I say Johnny Reno is in the house? I think I did, but I'll say it again because he's a good guy. GI Bro with the best arms in the business. We have Fatred, who has joined us. Yeah, come on. I know there's more. We have Pretzel John, who I already mentioned earlier. We have Frank Damunia on here. I don't know why I actuated it like that. We have a 3-star draw. See, I don't highlight any of this, but I like to say hi to as many people as possible. We have Sabir Del Norte is here. Good evening, folks, and Lawrence. We have the other half of the Terrordrome, Tony's Face. Hit that like button, nerds. Yes, please hit that like button if you haven't yet. It's really easy. And you know how much it costs you? Absolutely nothing. Sean Forrester has joined us. Jay Astro is in the house. Wow, I get there's a lot of you guys. I know there's a lot of chats going on in different streams, but man, I'm not sure if there's anyone that has more people that are active chatting than you guys. I'm usually sitting at anywhere from 15 to 1800 chats. So Turk Murphy Toy Solutions is here. Josh C. We have Backwoods 78 and Ray Black has joined us. Thank all of you for joining us. What else do I got to hear? So this weekend, I also added some more shelves. I know I did the whole shelves video. You know what? Thank you guys. I guess I should kind of discuss. So I wasn't here last week. The shelves video. I didn't expect that many people to care about me putting up shelves, but you guys did. Thank you. I hope someone gets, especially like if you're not a toy collector. Hopefully you get something out of it. They're really easy to do. That thing was cheap. All right, that whole board, cutting those 4 slats, having it cut was under $24. And then the brackets are like $2.50 each. Let's say hi to a Viper Scout. We have I don't know why I was gonna say Johnny Reno. Ronnie Trickshot is here, and we have a Tripwire 788 has joined us. Thank you, Aaron. Says the shelving looks great, and this guy knows all about building stuff because, man, he has some thick ass shelves. I'm glad I didn't smack my head when I stayed at his house. Yeah, thank you very much for watching that. So I obviously had more. I did buy another shelf to put up here. Something I'll eventually show you guys. You can't see the lights. I would actually hate to show the lights because if anyone has LED lights, you know, like if they're showing, you see the little squares rather than just a nice illumination. And that's all that I want is a nice illumination. But that's high enough that you don't have to see it. But I need to create more space because you guys could see the tables back here. But in the Joe room, I put 2 more shelves up. It made the room smaller. I didn't know I could make that room smaller. But I figure, you know what? All that I'm ever going to do, all that anyone is ever going to do is walk in there, kind of pass through it. I'm going to put and I'll do a video once it's all done. I got to clean it all up. But having the flag in there and having just a few more shelves, I can kind of move things around and actually get my basement back to being my basement. Keith Coleman has joined us. Happy Veterans Day to all that serve. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Happy Veterans Day to every single one of you. Thank you to all of you that did serve. I, 100% honest, did not have the balls to join the military. So I thank all of you for the freedoms that you guys have given us. And just so people realize when people talk about the freedoms, that's freedoms of things that you may not like also. You know that? Like sometimes, you may not like something. I don't agree with a lot of things that some of these athletes do, but that's the freedoms that we have in this country. And then we have Derek Holloman who has joined us. And then I want to talk about, I guess I should mention it since I'm talking about stuff since I wasn't here last week. The ghillie suit video. It is amazing how many people see all 3 of them in a different way, right? Some people found the gridiron one to be the best. I actually found the gridiron one to be the best. Some people found the Valaverse to be the best, and some people found the Hasbro one. And it's hard to tell if people are just toting party lines. And no, this is not a political stream, but you know what I mean by party lines. There are some people that if it's gridiron, it could be a warped piece of shit, and they would say that it's the best. And other people would say a Valaverse would be the best, even though it is a duster. And others would say that the Christmas tree from Hasbro is the best. I think they all had their merits. What I do have a problem with is the one person who talked about how gridiron shouldn't even be in there because their products are too expensive. Well, first off, I hate to have to address this, but the products aren't too expensive. They are pricey and they are expensive, but it's just like anything. All right, that's like saying I can't pit a supercar. Like I can't pit a Dodge Viper and a Corvette against a Lamborghini because the Lamborghini is out of people's price ranges. Well, those other two cars are also pretty expensive. The Lamborghini is just more expensive, but it doesn't mean that it's out of the price range and it fits into what you're talking about. So that is the reason why I really enjoyed doing that. It was nice going out in the environment, doing stuff like that, making sure you don't lose it because the last thing you want to do is lose one of those figures. And it would have been pretty easy to be 100% honest. So Plastic Skulls has joined us. What's up, Punk and everyone else? Great to have you here. And Tripwire 78 says, respect to all that served and sacrificed. Sorry that crap tube doesn't appreciate you enough to give us an American flag to salute. Well, remember that is the right that they fought for, so they can put whatever they want on there. But I guess I can kind of agree with you on that one. So anyway, that wasn't even on the list of things to talk about. I want to say thank you to Wilhelm Toy and Hobby for Thursday with a Friend. If you have not seen it, I will continue to tell you. It is, to me, it is a show that I am most proud of about all the stuff that I've done. It is actually really easy for me to do now that I know the question that I'm going to ask. I understand the format, but I really enjoy doing it. And I feel like so many people get something out of it. And his story was absolutely wonderful. And there was sad parts to it, but I love hearing a guy that didn't have the greatest childhood. He talks about what's great in his childhood, but he also went into what maybe wasn't so great, but he doesn't dwell on that. He doesn't look at that as, he didn't let that make him who he is. Or shall I say make it so that's how horrible his life could be. So check out Will. That was an awesome one. And seriously, such a nice guy.
Oh, I like that.
Such a nice guy. And as you can hear, my daughter came in and has no concern that, hey, oh my God, hey, my dad is live. I'll just come right on in.
Well,
But what do you think of it?
I said I like it.
What do you think when you look here?
I like it. That's
Okay.
When I
Well,
saw it.
I didn't know you could see that.
No, I saw it. I was like, oh, I like it. And I like my own ring light being taken.
Well, that's your ring light.
Oh.
Mine broke, that one. I just haven't replaced it. And you never used it anyway, so.
I did.
Okay,
I
well.
use it as LEDs. But
All right, well, then I'll buy another one.
it's okay.
Anyway, that is a word from my daughter. If anyone becomes a member right now, you can get a live welcome to the creamery. But we would need someone to join.
I actually already did 80 of those.
But that was on the Streamathon.
I was just gonna tell you.
Yes.
In the Dollar General thing, I looked through it and I didn't think you wanted to give your gum to the veterans, so I took it out for you.
Oh, thank you. I totally forgot that I had the gum.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is awesome. Like, there's the conversation that I had with my daughter. She's like, hey, you're live and you're alone, so you can't even like hit mute and let the other person talk.
What?
That's why I love
was
it so
being
much.
so nice.
You were being nice. You always are.
Exactly. How?
And believe me, I'm sure people enjoy it because you are the comic relief.
Of course I am, bro. Quite.
And she has no shame. And she has absolutely no shame at all. And you gotta love it. So
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
and Tony's Figs with the $2. I believe that's is a super chat of cream. I didn't even have to beg for a super chat. Thank you, Tony. It's great not begging for it. He just wrote cream. That doesn't mean you have to do it. So
I don't like that cream.
Coco Smooth. I want to call you Coco Smith so every single time, and I've said it. Coco Smooth, the casual collector. I've yet to attend Joe Fest or Legion's Con. Well, you need to make it out to Joe Fest next year.
I love you.
Love you too, babe. You need to make it out to Joe Fest. Joe Fest is just so much fun. for so many reasons. Cobra Commander has joined us here. Um, um, Ed was saying, "Where's our thank you creamery veterans from Olivia?" I can't put her on the spot with that. She can't repeat what she already did. So, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, she can't even read what she can't repeat what she's already said for the welcome to the creamery, which you think that now, after doing it 80 times on the streamathon, that she would be able to do it. But unfortunately, awesome. Um, and Travis Moody joined saying, sorry, just tuning in, but pretty sure I read that Sherlock Prime that you went to assembly required. Yes, he was, and he reported here during Punk's Pit, and we talked to him a little bit about that. Wraith Mace has also joined us. All right. All right, what else? What the hell was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. So I want to say thank you to Ed and Oz, who also joined from Legions Con. Ed hosted our, the clubhouse. Let me tell you guys, do a wonderful, wonderful job. I just get to partake in it. But Ed ran it. Oz not only joined there, but he also joined us on Punk's Pit and gave us a look at that dragon. I think that thing is amazing. It looks so awesome. And yeah, I don't know how much it's going to cost. I think it's going to be on my price range for what I collect for Mythic Legends. But if I could get it, I definitely would and have it attacking the aircraft carrier. Payne's Toy Symbol has joined us. Anyway, and I want to thank Matthew and Charlotte both for Punk's Pit. Everyone else that joined Punk's Pit, but you guys know who you are. Matthew, he's there the whole time as the moderator. Even when I'm about to pass out, my head was definitely going down a few times. And Charlotte, who joined us from his car and then from his hotel room, he joined us actually from Assembly Required. Though he didn't bring headphones, so he was able to put Chris McLeod on, but he's like, I don't think they can hear us. And like, we can hear you perfectly fine. And same with Patrick Stewart. So thank you to all of you guys who did help make that a little bit more enjoyable, because Punk's Pit is just about, slamming around on the YouTube. So if you guys can hear that, that is Roman, who of course now has decided that he needs to jump in here. So this Thursday, I will have Joe G on. It is Joe Gonsalves. He will be on Thursday with a friend. He is a huge Mythic Legends fan. Maybe the biggest Mythic Legends fan. If you know where Mythic Legends come from, someone said that they made a comment on one of my videos and they said, all I do is I'm negative and I tear everything apart except for when I review the Mythic Legends. I have not reviewed that many Mythic Legends or Mythic Legions for that matter, just a few. But they are always good. All right, quickly, I want to talk about Entertainment Earth. So, I'm not going to shill on this, but if you use my code, you'll get another 10% off. Or you can use anyone else's code. I've told you guys before, everyone seems to have an Entertainment Earth code. So if you want to use mine, it is APWT, and you'll get an extra 10% off. But quickly, let me pull this up here, and I do want to show you guys. They right now are running their early Black Friday sales, and they have some pretty good ones. There's no doubt about it. From here until through Christmas, this is where you're going to see these guys, Big Bad Toy Store, blowing stuff out that they don't have. I think some of the biggest ones that you can, that I think people might be interested in are the Plunderlings, the Plunderstrongs, the Plunderlongs. These are fun figures. We've discussed this 100 times before. Absolutely love these things, especially the Plunderlings. They're just cute, fun toys to play with. They're kind of pricey, but you can get them discounted. And if you use somebody's code, again, I have a code. So many. Just go to any YouTuber that talks toys, and they have a code. Use someone's code to get an extra 10% off. And I believe after $49, you get free shipping. So you can save a bunch of money. We know Amazon is going to start having stuff. Amazon's going to start having stuff come up too. So if you are interested, go over there and do what you need to do and save yourself a little bit of money, because as you know, these toys are really damn expensive. And then I guess I want to quickly also mention that if you go to Hello Dope Toys and use my code APWT, well, you'll get 10% off. And because of that, I think it's time to show you guys a Hello Dope commercial. If I could find one that actually works. We'll go with this one.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, "Oh, Moss Man, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch my cell for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio." So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Mouse Man, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box. I was like, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then a Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to HelloDopeToys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then like at the end of the month, they're like, Hello Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to HelloDopeToys.com and like and subscribe, and then in the comments put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not HelloDopeToys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, alright guys, bye!
And that was a message from Mossman. And no, I do not have to pay back the 10%. Or do I? Say hi to Len, who has joined us. All right. So before we get into everything, like I said, I mentioned the deals. Oh, yeah. Also, if you haven't ordered this guy yet right now, you don't have him in, you can get him on Amazon right now. He is going to ship. I put a link out in the community tab. You'll also find it on my video if you wanted to. You can go back there and link right up there and get it. And he's actually $24. He's actually $1 cheaper than everywhere else. And I have to say that's one of the best figures. I am really impressed with that Storm Shadow. I know a lot of people don't like the skirting around him. I don't find it too cumbersome yet. I haven't really messed around with him. He seems to stand a little bit better than the original Storm Shadow. And he has the exact same feet. So I don't know if they made some modifications or maybe just the ankle joints are a little bit tighter. It's hard to say. So the last thing I want to address before we get into everything, and I talked a little bit about this on Punk's Pit, but I have been obviously I'm outspoken, and I knew being outspoken that I could be a lightning rod for things, and I don't like drama. And drama has been something that I have said that I don't want to be a drama channel. I talked to Matthew about this, and I've mentioned this numerous times. Drama is a cheap pop from wrestling, right? You're going to get the cheap pops for a short bit. But at the same time, I'm not a big fan of bullshit, and I'm going to call it out. And obviously, I have called people out due to shit that they've done. And the whole fake copyright bullshit that I showed everyone, well, I can't say that I know who did this, but someone did put an actual copyright strike against me. It is complete bullshit, as I have talked to the owner of Fresh Monkey Fiction, Bill Murphy, who doesn't know who this person is. So he did not commission him to do any type of photography for Operation Monster Force. Also, somebody else in the industry reached out to other people related with Skeletron and other independent toy companies, and they have no idea who he is. So, this is truly what a copyright strike is. Now, I'm just going to say it. I don't know who it is. It's hard for me not to think that it has someone that is not associated with what I had done. And it also didn't fall on deaf ears that on the Streamathon, I had Yojo Jerk, Toy Gaines, and Just Jeff on. And Gaines asked me, hey, what was that about? Like, what's actually going on? And I told him the story. And then that was on a Saturday. And then on a Tuesday, I got this false copyright strike. And please, I am not saying that they did it, because I know they didn't do it. It has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying I told the story again because he asked about it, and then wow, magically I get hit with this false copyright strike. And I responded to the person who shockingly did not respond back. But just know this, like, come on, guys. This is such bullshit at this point that we continue to go through this. I don't care if I don't like you. YouTube is a big fucking world. We all can live on here together. We don't have to be friends. It's like on the playground. I don't have to like everyone. You don't have to like everyone. But to be doing stuff like this, it shows exactly what one of the biggest problems is that's going on with all of this. So I am in the middle of, fighting it. It is way different than Instagram, where there is no real ramifications. This here, there are just other hoops that I have to go through to prove that I didn't do any copyright strikes, and the fact that the person is lying. And after 90 days, a copyright strike actually does drop off. And I could just wait it out, but the point is, I don't want someone throwing up shit like this. And it shouldn't be happening to anyone. All right. And even if I did use someone's picture by mistake, there would be no reason not to contact me and say, hey, you know what? You used my picture. You didn't have permission. Please don't do that again without giving me, or just don't do it. But copyright strike the whole video. And I'm not really sure how that works compared to just doing a picture. Unfortunately, they removed the video and I can't even see. And they can't tell me what it is. So it's a waste of my fucking time. I mean, that's truly what it is. It's just a waste of my time and everyone else's time, including YouTube's. I mean, there's no reason to waste anyone's time with this. So, guys, just stop the bullshit. All right. Again, I know I'm a lightning rod because I say stuff that a lot of other people maybe won't say, or they don't want to get involved. And sometimes I wish I could be that person. It's just not who I am. But if you're going to pull stuff like that, there does come a time to pay the piper. So say hi to Mr. Mad Gus, who has joined us. We have Ostradamus Toys, who has joined us, and Master Hoarder. I love you. You love me. Maybe we'll see when I meet you. Tripwire says you were doing something good to help the community of kids, and this piece of shit pulled that on you. What a sewer well, again, I don't know if it has anything. I can't say that's exactly what it has to do with. It's just that I know that I told the story again because Toy Games had asked me exactly what had happened, because a lot of people, all they heard was me flying off the deep end. And they got the gist of it that, hey, you know what? I'm pissed off that someone is falsely accusing me of coming in and doing these copyright strikes. And I opened up my YouTube, my YouTube studio to say, hey, this is exactly it. I've done nothing of the sort. I have no reason to do anything of the sort. And then it just seems kind of odd that after I tell the story, it all died down. That guy continues to come back. And the fact that nobody even realizes what he's done, whatever. Again, YouTube's a big fucking world, have your fucking fun in your ocean, dude. But the fact that I tell the story, then a couple of days later, this comes, ripping through, and it's just like, dude, for the love of God, man, let it fucking go. All right. This whole fucking thing has been proven that you guys are completely in the wrong. Or the other person that accused me of it, and you know who you are. And everyone knows who they are because I fucking went off on it. But it's like, just fucking let the shit fucking go. All right. You guys have already come off looking like complete fucking morons. I think that's it. So anyway, we got the topic. We'll be talking about what is on your bucket list for toy conventions. If there's anything that you're looking to do or anything that you want to get to eventually. I didn't want to mention or bring this up here still, even though I am not a Ghostbusters fan. It is a HasLab. I am shocked that this thing still has not funded. 9,100 people. They still need 12,000 for the target. We discussed this on the Clubhouse, amongst other places, but we discussed this on the Clubhouse, and I think this just shows that most Ghostbuster fans aren't toy fans. They're cosplayers. That's why everyone said those patches for the Rattler would have gone really great with Ghostbusters. They don't go all that well with when it comes to G.I. Joe. And although I think this is a really good set, because you know what? It's a great set because $400 and you have everything, right? You get all four Ghostbusters. You get Slimer, who I think is probably the most important ghost. Plus, you might get a few other things, and it's seriously a shelf all in one. You're getting everything that you need. You pop that thing up there, and you're good to go. Now, if you already have it, then you can just buy, just buy it without the figures. It all depends. But I have a feeling that, it's not, it's going to fun, but I think this is where you see, like, there's not a lot of Ghostbuster stuff. It came and went. The people that wanted got it, but there's not a lot of people getting into it. G.I. Joe, it was a toy line. It is a toy line. And I think you're going to see people, you've seen how people have gravitated. No HasLab for G.I. Joe would still be here. The first three classified. I understand exactly. This is before someone says a Sky Striker, but the other ones, yeah, like nope. The classified is killing it, but here it is, same scale, and this thing looks awesome. It really does. If you are into Ghostbusters, or you're not, you're just like, yeah, I like Ghostbusters, but I like a 1/12 scale vehicle. This thing looks amazing. So, but I think a lot of it goes back to the fact that Ghostbuster fans just aren't toy fans per se. Not saying none of them, because we know we got Oz and guys like that. But yeah. Matthew Matson says the Ecto is awesome. Bad timing. I kind of agree with you, but the Proton Pack had no problem funding, and that was going right into Christmas too. But I'm with you, because I think they're trying to appeal not only to cosplayers, but someone like myself and probably you and others that are like, I would just like to have that, throw it up there. Sean Forrester says, folks don't order HasLabs in the middle of a campaign. only at the beginning and the end. For the most part, you're absolutely correct. And it makes no sense. If you like this, fucking back it. And then if you decide later on that you don't want to, just remove it. They don't take your money. You know, Super 7 takes your money right away. Mattel takes your money once it backs, which makes no sense because why not let it go to the end? This you don't have to pay. It's like every other Kickstarter, every other crowdfunder. So, Professor John says, I love my Ghostbuster toys as a kid, but I have not felt any need to collect the new stuff as an adult. But I also think that the stuff that you had as a kid wasn't based on the movie. And I could be wrong because I was not a Ghostbusters. But isn't the real Ghostbusters based on the cartoon? And this is based off the movies. And it doesn't seem to be a huge, it doesn't seem to be a huge market for it. It's going to back because there are people that are just going, I like Ghostbusters. And this is a whole series in one. Shark Guys has joined us. And White Vegeta, assembly required. I think he's saying that's what is on his bucket list. We'll get to that. Wade Howlettson has joined us. Whew. White Vegeta says, I like Ghostbusters, but it's about $50 too much. I disagree. I mean, when you look at you're getting a vehicle, and if you buy the $400 one, you're getting all 4 figures, including the Slimer, including the Ghost, the Librarian, and then you're also going to get, if it hits their numbers, the Rick Moranis figure. I can't remember his name. And then I know we have Clint Jorgensen who has joined us. Had to order one just in case they do a 1/12 scale Firehouse and then a 55 Central West Park. I could see them doing a Firehouse. Well, I could have seen them doing a Firehouse. I don't see them doing it because this thing isn't doing all that well. I think it's going to get pulled. I think the plug is going to get pulled because it's not doing that well. Just Jeff has joined us. There wasn't any toys based on the movie until Mattel did stuff. Yeah. So again, I don't think. And again, I'm not saying there's no toy collectors that aren't into Ghostbusters because there clearly are, but it's not like G.I. Joe and it's not like He-Man and stuff like that. So anyway, it's just weird to look at this thing and think, there's 21 days left, so it's been going for 14 days. Right? Is this 2 weeks it's been going? Something like that, maybe more. And it hasn't funded yet, and it's gonna fund because it's less than 3,000 away from it. So anyway, do you need to go outside? Can you go see the girl? Can you go see the other child? Like, here she comes. You hear her? Go get her. Go. Look, there she is. Call him. He doesn't hear you. I mean, he hears you. He doesn't know what you want. Children. Anyway, all right, 80 people watching. Please hit that like button if you haven't. It's free. It's so easy. It's so much fun. You just hit that like button. You're like, wow, this feels really good. It feels really good. Anyway, let's get into some of the news. Toy Connections has joined us. Oh, bucket list cons. Are there any cons in Canada that should be on a bucket list? All right. I'm trying to figure out where I put all this at. All right. And we'll start off with a little bit of Masters of the Universe. Let's try to see. There's 65 votes right now with 34% right now for San Diego Comic-Con and 38% for Joe Fest. I'm not overly shocked because of the people that are here, but I gotta say, San Diego Comic-Con is still that one that is on my bucket list for sure. Look at this. Right away, we have Viper's Cut saying, time to go to sleep. There's not many. There's not many. Actually, there's only one figure. So there is this Mohawk dude. Someone tell me what his name is. I have no idea what his name is. I was too busy going through putting stuff in while sitting on the clubhouse. But I think he does look pretty cool. He has a pretty cool shovel, or maybe that's an axe, but it looks more like a shovel. Let's see. Jay Solo Arts has joined us. Those Ghostbusters O-rings are the toys I would have loved as a kid. Yeah, I think so. I can see why they did it. Plus, they were so cheap. I mean, $40, I think, for all of them. Isn't that what it was? Now we are fumbling through the galaxy. Fan Expo in Canada is our SDCC. It's got a lot of stars. All right. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to there. Because I really didn't know, and I wasn't even trying to be a dick, although I probably came off as one. But hey, you know what? That's my charm. And Woody 222 has just joined us, which means that Toy Gains and Yojo Jerk have just finished because he was on live over there. So go ahead and check that out later on after this. Watch the replay after this live is done. And we have Drock. It does look like a shovel. It does. They come on. This is so get off my yard guy right here. This is get off my yard guy. If you've ever seen chasing some kids down with a shovel because they came by and kicked some snow onto his driveway. Josh G says, "Is this Origins or Masterverse?" This is Origins. So it is a Mattel exclusive. Is this? No, I think that's the axe that came with Ram Man and a couple other people. So no, and you know what? It's odd that you asked that about. It's odd that you asked that about Masterverse or Origins. And I've said I gotten out of the Origins, but I was still collecting them when the stuff started going to Mattel Creations, and their stuff was stuff you were seeing. It was so good. It was sculpted so good for being what started off as a $15 figure, and eventually I think it's either $18 or $20 depending on where you get them. But yeah, Sub0911 says, "Hey Lawrence, finally made a live one. Well, it's great to have you here. Hit that like button since you're here." And we have Lunchbox Killer. I thought it was pretty funny. On Hella Dope Toys, they were talking about, was it Hella Dope Toys? No, when I was on with, oh yeah, that's what happened. I jumped on with Ed and Mr. Wonderful on their show that I still haven't got a commercial for, so I can play it since he's my moderator. And they were talking about lunchboxes, and Lunchbox Killer's like, "I like lunchboxes," or something like that. And Kenzo's Creation, who has jumped in here. But again, these new these new Origins figures, the sculpt that they've done for such a inexpensive figure and such a very basic style figure. And please, no one take offense to that, because I really love what they did with. I love what they did with the Origins. I mean, they made them look like the original. Masters of the Universe, where you could just pop them in. But they said, "Hey, let's make the arms bend a little and the knees bend, but they're still going to be pop and swap. And this is going to be one of those modular lines that you can do." But now that I'm looking at this, and I didn't think anything about calling it a shovel before, but now I can't unsee the shovel. And then, I told you, this is him chasing the kids down with the shovel. But again, really good figure, and I actually really like the Mohawk. Almost makes me want to get him just because he's a punk rocker. And Roll Keeper has jumped in here. I believe that you are at Legion's Con because they kept referring to Roll Keeper. Am I correct on that? So great to see you here. Man, I'm sorry, I can't unsee the stupid shovel now. Thank you myself for pointing out the shovel. Woody says, "Looks like the guy from Home Alone that just walked up and down the street with the shovel." I honestly don't think that I've ever watched Home Alone. Actually, I know I've never watched Home Alone all the way through because I don't care about that movie. It was that era that was like, this kid is just annoying as shit. That's a kid Christmas movie. I don't care about it. But now I'm wondering. Now I want to see what this is. And Kenzo, who is a huge Motu guy, has sculpt on this one in armor almost exactly like classics. What is his name, Kenzo? Because I honestly have no idea. And the blast. I'm sorry. Like I just never. I just never really watched it. Francis says Home Alone is the best torture film ever, better than Funny Game, Straw Dogs, you name it. Viper Scott says Kevin was a psychopath, possibly Jigsaw. Now I know I've never watched any of those movies, but I do know who Jigsaw is. I'm not a big horror fan, but I do know who it is. Gelder, yes, thank you very much. And I actually knew this. Gelder Punk, I like that. So there he is with his shovel. I almost want to get him just because of the mohawk and the shovel now. And then I can have him outside like shoveling my snow. But anyway, it is a good looking figure, and they do a wonderful job. They do a wonderful job. Here is the packaging for them. The one thing that I'm so glad that they did was they went down the Mythic Legions style, where all their stuff from Mattel Creations, even their basic packaging, it slides out, so you don't have to ruin the box. I think everyone. I understand why stores can't. They can't do it for stores. Let's be honest. I mean, these guys are ripping shit out and plopping in old figures and taking them back. These asshole toy swappers. Imagine if you gave them the ability to do this. Can you imagine being an adult and going home with a figure, getting a $5 figure, putting it in the box, and then risking your ass going back to the store? You are truly a low piece of shit if you do that. All right? And I do mean that. So if I go from 87 people to like 67, because all the toy swappers that are in here say, I'm never watching you again, good, because I don't want you guys. Seriously, you got to be a piece of shit to do stuff like that. And, that's just me saying that because I'm such a nice guy. And, well, I guess we got to do the...
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
And Woody 222 says, 1999 super chat. Thank you very much. Getting back on track. Here comes the money following the wet fart. See, Woody, you said you didn't like the wet fart, but I think you're starting to appreciate it. Andrew Taylor says Walmart has started locking down action figures in locked cases. That's great, but it's no good if they still let people bring them back. No, it doesn't help if they let people bring it back. I returned a figure that I had ordered from Walmart when it was pre-order, and I took it back, and the lady's like, I got to open this up so I can make sure it's the right figure. And I go, that's awesome. First, you're going to kind of piss people off that want it in box because it was in the plastic-free packaging. But I'm like, I've never had anyone do this because I had to return some stuff where I've ordered from multiple places and one came, and Walmart's the easiest one to return it to other than Amazon. Yo, Joe Jerk jumping in here. Smash that like button, gang. Thank you very much. Check them out. Only till 9 o'clock. Then you gotta leave. They run from 8 till, I would say, 9:45 it looks like. So check them out. Toy Games, Jerk. They always have someone special on. Today they had Woody 222 on there. And Woody 222 is always good to have. So anyway, here is Geldor packaging. And again, the artwork, I will reiterate this, as long as they're showing stuff off like this. There may be artworks. I don't want to get a fight with someone that goes, oh, dude, this G.I. Joe has better artwork, or this Mythic Legions. There may be people that do as good of artwork, but no one does better artwork than these Masters of the Universe, the Origins, all the stuff that they put in there. Absolutely awesome. They knock it out of the park So whoever their artist is, you just keep doing what you're doing. They throw in so many Easter eggs, and I know other people do the same thing. They bring in, they put their Easter eggs in, but I don't think anyone does this better than Masters of the Universe, and mostly with the Origins. I can't really speak so much on the other one, but the Origins, there's always stuff. So, all right. Time for everyone to come back soon. There's our shovel. Doesn't look as much like a shovel here, but I think the shovel and mohawk. Woody Trouble 2 says, Jerk, quit following me. I'm wondering why you didn't bring everyone else, Woody. Why didn't you bring Gaines and everyone, huh? You only brought Jerk. That's just not really cool. And here's the mini comic, Plague of the Immortal. I mean, I can't say that this is the greatest artwork because this looks like a kid did it. I thought people think they make He-Man's head bad, on the actual action figure. Man, this looks awful. This looks like a kid drew it. But yeah, this is I would assume what is going to be the mini comic, and He-Man with his sword of power fighting the shovel of power. I'm going with the shovel. All right. On to McFarlane. I will say it again. Who the hell really collects McFarlane? Don't people just buy McFarlane? But there are collectors. So I had to throw this Red Hood in here. My son loves Red Hood. I don't believe Red Hood was in the animated cartoon, Batman the Animated Series. If I'm wrong, then please let me know. This is a continuation of it. It says Batman Adventures Continue. I think this is actually a really good looking figure. All right. I like the outfit that he has. I like they give him an unmasked mask. This is an actual. Is this a no? This is still a 7-inch, the 7-inch figure. So, Legend Series. Tony has joined us, and Red X Omac 5. I know I said that wrong. I collect McFarlane. Come at me, bro. Hey, I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just saying I don't truly believe people collect it. I believe people buy it because they like certain figures. Like people collect Marvel Legends, even if they don't like it. I don't think people ever look at a McFarlane like, I don't like it, but I collect it. All right. So I wanted to point something out here. Now the last or the first Red Hood that I got for my son was a 2-pack. It was Red Hood with Nightwing. And it had pistols. And there was a mandate from everything that we had heard that DC put a mandate that you cannot have trigger fingers. Well, no, you can have trigger fingers. You couldn't have shooting weapons. And here he has the weirdest looking rocket launcher I've ever seen. But he has one of the pistols. Now, someone said, hey, maybe because it's a page puncher, it's maybe a little bit different. I'm not sure because we've seen higher priced figures that didn't come with guns. But I found it very interesting to see that not only does he have his holster, but he also comes with an actual pistol. And hopefully for everyone that does collect DC or anything like that, that they have lifted that ban. Because there's no reason why certain characters in DC lore shouldn't have guns. McFarlane does his best to give you like a weapons pack that will fit, but to be honest, most of his guns suck. Dave's Dimension says, I really buy McFarlane anymore. Tidy Mac has been repulsing me. No Hood was never in the animated series, but only in the animated Hood. I'm confused. Well, yeah. Again, I didn't think he was, but the comic continues on the same way that he's done with Batman 66. Now I have no problem with them doing this because I think you have to evolve the line. Red Exomatic says, "No, you're good. Don't yuck my yum. Just call you Red 5. How about that? That works for me." Travis B74. Man, I've got all the travesties in today. Sorry, Travis B, that you get lumped in with them, but you have to. Hi, Lawrence and everyone. Hope everyone is having a good night. I am. Oh, the animated movie? Okay. But no, and again, like it's cool that it shows what book it's from. Anyway, the figure looks decent. It looks like what you would assume comes from the animated from the animated comics. Obviously from the animated cartoon. All cartoons are animated. You guys know what I'm saying. But he looks like he's right out of it. I think the Jack is pretty nice. I just wish that this aesthetic could fit a little bit better with anything that's 6-inch. I know. Anything with 6-inch. What do we say to that?
That's what she said.
But it does have the old store casing where it's like, good luck. Anyone remember this casing? Like, I don't care what scissors you use, you were gonna slice up your hand at some point trying to get these figures out. But he does come with a batarang, his pistol, the worst rocket launcher I've ever seen, but I guess it works for him. Anyway, I think it's a good looking figure if you're into this. I love that he has the Red Hood symbol on his back because nothing says I'm in incognito better than having your logo on your back as you're trying to get away. Here's the Shazam. Now, I posted these. This thing sold out like crazy. It sold out on Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Stores, Amazon. They didn't have it up there. So if you're looking for Shazam, from all intents and purposes, this is the Shazam that people want, and it's part of their page punchers. If you see it on pre-order, you better grab it because it keeps selling out really, really quick. And Turk Murphy once again is saying, smash that like button. Please hit that like button. It does help out more than you know and helps grow this channel. And also, 77, please take a look and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. There are so many people that get unsubscribed just because YouTube nerfs different people just for some odd reason. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. We're approaching 6,000, if you can believe that. Wow. So, he only comes with a few things, which is, kind of the staple for McFarlane. But I actually think this figure looks pretty good. And I think everyone else thought that too because, man, I posted it like an hour and a half later in the community tab. And as I was going through it, boom, it was gone. Beast Battleground says, I unsub because we're nemesises. That is very true, and I have more nemesis with you because you have the dragonfly and I do not. Though I have a shipping label created and they said it has left the building, but FedEx says no, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. And I haven't watched your video, but I heard there's an issue with the canopy, which that worries me. Anyway, here you go, page punchers. Nice looking cape. I got to give McFarlane credit, man. He's doing a lot of soft good capes, which just really makes figures look that much better. There's no doubt about it. So at least I think that's a soft goods cape, right? Is that a soft goods cape? Man, that looks like a soft goods cape. We're gonna go with that. Here's the awful packaging. I hate this. Like I see this packaging, I'm just like, oh God. Just it gives you like have PTSD about trying to open these up as a kid and slicing up your hands and everything. All right. Oh God. All right. So I talked about this. I don't think it's just me that thinks cell shading isn't the best look. Now, this is Superman 78. Clearly, these are comics based off of the Christopher Reeve Superman. This is the Christopher Reeve Superman here. You can see Lois Lane, Lex Luthor. These are guys that, you can tell they're the actors. You can tell this Gene Hackman. Obviously, there's Brainiac, who was not in the movies. The cell shading usually doesn't work. And in this Superman, it does not work. So here he is. Again, I don't know who's asking for this. I understand why there's cell shading in cartoons, but I don't understand this. Tony Figg's going back to our Shazam saying, yes, this figure looks great. And I think it looks great. And I'm not a big Shazam fan, but I know him enough to look at it. But anyway, so here's Christopher Reeve as Superman. He gets his hands, a stick of, as he's smoking. Looks like he's got a kryptonite cigarette. That wouldn't be good to smoke. But, so he has the cell shading down his chin that goes right down his neck. Now, this looks awful. And I don't even understand, how this passes any... I don't know who's sitting in a boardroom going, oh, yeah, cell shade this motherfucker. I just think it's awesome. Legend Series says, I assume this is for the Superman 78 comic book. Yes. And that's what it comes with. It showed that it showed the comic behind it. Travis B says, at least you have shipping label. I'm waiting for an email to tell me it is shipping. It seems like most of the people that did not get the shipping label, it's just magically showing up. So you better be fucking careful with that. Because other people, it just magically showed up. I think Chaz the Guru said his did. And there were a few other people that also said the same thing. And that's kind of what I'm worried about, because you got to sign for it. And I don't want it to show up and I'm not here to sign for it, and I didn't have a chance to change it to a different place, and then all of a sudden I'm waiting, trying to get a hold of FedEx to say, hey, I send it over to this FedEx center. That's what's bothering me the most. Other than I just wanted to play around with, because it looks amazing, and like I said, I had a wonderful weekend where I could have gone outside and taken some pictures with it. But anyway, as I digress, this thing's just awful. I don't understand. Maybe someone else. Is anyone here I need more cell shaded figures? I needed more X-Men cell shaded. I need more Superman cell shaded. Man, it makes no sense. Viper Scout says, FedEx dropped mine off on my pouch, no signature. A lot of people, they've done that. And with me, they have been, my FedEx drivers are like, nope, we're not doing that. They didn't do it with the Sky Striker. That one got sent back. I had to have it redirected. And then the one Mezco that I knew that I was going to be here because it was on a weekend, I was here to sign for it. All the other ones I just had redirected to the FedEx location so I could just swing by. Sabir says, FedEx delivered mine Saturday with no signature, but left it at my front door, so it worked out. They could have left it down on the first floor of the building I live in. Not unusual for New York City, though. The fact that you ended up with it living in New York, and it was like, fuck that. Black Genghis says, I got him with the door tag, had to send it to the store 3 miles away. Yeah, that's what happened originally with my Sky Striker. So if you guys know, especially if you order Mezco, get the FedEx manager. So you're gonna use the FedEx. You got to sign up for it. You just use the app, but you sign up for it. They will send you a PIN so you can verify that it's your address. And then when anything populates, you can send it wherever you want. This way you don't have to worry about it. And according to Ed and Matthew, they said that you can sign for it to allow things to be dropped off. I don't know where that's at still, but whatever. Anyway, back to this crappy Superman. I think the figure looks really good because we've seen the Christopher Reeve one. I think it looks good. This thing just not a fan of. Grizzlehorn jumping in with a hit like all. Thank you very much. Please do. It feels good. That sounds really dirty. He does have a wonderful soft goods cape. So there's that. You can display him from behind. There's no cell shading back there. But yeah, I'm not sure like who really wants cell shading, but there must be a market for it because he is doing it, right? And Francis Brady, member for 1 month. And I know I keep saying it, but
Welcome to the Creamery.
I will eventually get something that says continued to the Creamery. Black Genghis here, member for 9 months.
Welcome to the Creamery.
There you go. And then this thing went up, and I gotta say, I really like the way this figure looks. I don't know anything about it, but it is just another Batman. Another cool looking Batman here. This is the autograph series, but nice soft goods cape. Armored up. Someone tell me where this Batman is from because I'm sure it's just a repaint, but I think it looks pretty damn badass to be 100% honest. Nolan here has been a member for 12 months.
Welcome to the Creamery.
I don't think I can get her to come in and do that. But yeah, this is actually really nice here. Black Genghis says Black Adam Page Puncher. That's what the body is. I mean, obviously the chest is, and I was thinking it went to one of the Arkham Knight games, but again, I don't know. I was just looking at how he's armored up there. But again, I actually think this figure looks pretty damn good. So, if you want it, it's going to be available. But hey, he comes with a batarang and some hands. At what point do we start talking about how McFarlane doesn't give a lot of accessories? I mean, we say it when Marvel Legends doesn't. We say it about Star Wars. We never really say it about McFarlane. He just constantly gives shitty hands and batarangs and stuff like that. I mean, I guess he gives something, so there is that. And some awful stands. And those stands are awful for his figures. But all his figures need stands because they just don't stand. All right. Marvel Legends here. We talked about her in the past because she did go up for pre-order. Here's the solicitations for. I think the Marvel Legends female buck is a really good buck. They've done such a good job of what they've been showing off. And the way this one is, I believe that is a lot like the Black Widow. So it has just really good articulation with that weird ab crunch, like kind of at the bottom, just above her pelvis. And then also having the diaphragm cut. But a good-looking figure, if this is something that you're into, that's something that you want. I heard a bunch of groans when they showed her off, and it's just a repaint of the dark version of her. And like, dude, like, if you don't want it, this is crazy. If you don't want it, you don't have to buy it. It is a crazy concept. But if you really don't want a figure, then, you don't have to buy it. But Marvel Legends, as someone who who picks and chooses stuff from them, man, they have just knocked it out of the park the past year and a half, 2 years with the figures that they're showing. They're not all of them because some of them will still use an older buck, but for the most part, man, I think that they have done a wonderful fucking job. So this is a good looking figure. If you're interested, it is available for pre-order. I don't believe it's shipped yet. So, but some pretty nice looking moves. Has those, I don't know, the knees that do look kind of weird. Black Genghis says currently on sale and out of stock. God bless America. Is that what your avatar is doing? Or is that a face? I can't tell if he's a face palm or he's saluting. Tony's Fake says she goes with the new Iron Patriot from the Villain 3-pack. Okay. Well, then get it if you can. Look at this. Graph showing up. No rear shots taken of the fig. They're hiding something. I don't know. There's a side, a little bit of a side there right there. Black Angus says it's a facepalm. I kind of have figured that after I realized he'd be saluting with his left hand, but I think you can see where it kind of looks like a salute. Side note, was the facepalm even a thing before Patrick Stewart and Captain Picard? I mean, I know people have done it before, and again, I guess it is because I can remember. I guess I remember the Naked Gun when they all do the facepalm and you hear it. But I think Captain Picard took it to a whole new level because anytime you see that, you're just like, yep, that pretty much sums up my day or what I think of what you're saying. Anyway, here she is, 2 different heads. I have to say that, oh yeah, the 3 yeah, you know what? Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. I feel like that. Is there? I guess a better question is there a more used facepalm meme than with Patrick Stewart? Because his was so perfect. Plus, like in the next generation, when he would do that was like. It was in such disappointment. It was so in such disappointment. Mendoza, Picard brought some gravitas to the facepalm. All right, I knew you were here, right? I didn't say hi to you, and I swear you were here, right? Because I would remember saying Mendoza. Anyway, enough of looking at this one. All right, so anyway, Dark Avengers Warbird. There you go. If you want her, get her when she's not sold out. The Four Horsemen. Now we got a lot to talk about. I don't know names, so please don't jump down my throat. But man, it was Legion's Con. There was lots of stuff shown off. There was one gigantic thing shown off from the Four Horsemen that everyone is still patiently waiting to hear how much it's going to cost. And I know Oz says he's going to try and get one sent to me so I can put it on the aircraft carrier. And if he does, that would be awesome. Obviously not give me one. That's not... the biggest thing I think, like we talked about, was how would I get it back to whoever is letting me take pictures of it on the aircraft carrier and do a photo shoot on it, because it's going to be huge. But we'll get to that when we get to it, right? Russell Lemieux, how do you like your Dragonfly Punk? I don't have one. I really like my O-ring one. It's one of my favorite vehicles that I still do have. Well, it's not my original one. I don't have it yet. I don't have it. It'd be nice to have. It's just hanging out somewhere, hanging out in Chino, California. Probably getting jumped to a gang somewhere, I'm assuming. So it's probably going to come with maybe a red bandana, a blue bandana. It's going to have some tattoos on it. So they look awesome. That's what I can tell you. As Ed said, I think when I ordered it, I forgot to put on the "Do you know who I am?" So they didn't send it. Woody the Figure says, "Punk, I have 3. You can borrow one." No. I'm talking about the dragon, that big giant dragon from Mythic Legions. I know you don't have 3 yet because they're not out yet. The Dragonfly, I have one coming. It will eventually come. Anyway. Mythic Legions. I will reiterate, that you do have some issues that they don't have the greatest articulation. But you don't buy them for articulation. You buy them for the awesome sculpt. You buy them for the amazing paint and the accessories. You don't have crappy paint defects. I mean, I'm sure there have been some, so please, I don't need the whole I don't need the whole oh, I had one that was bad. Like, I don't want to hear about it. Like, I know there's always gonna be something, but these things look so good. Anyway, this thing has a snake body and wings. So I don't know what's more terrifying other than if you put fucking wings on a goddamn spider. I swear. Yes, it's Clint Jorgensen. Yeah, same as Super 7. When you buy a Super 7, you're not buying it for the articulation. You're buying it in hopes that the paint is where it's supposed to be. And sometimes that there's even paint on it. But here is this wonderful looking figure. I have no idea what her name is. Nor do I really care because most of the Mythic Legion stuff, you don't know how to pronounce their name. Same with the Cosmic Legions. But this thing looks awesome. I really do think so. And I can definitely see myself probably picking up one of these. Snakes don't bother me. I will not pick up a spider. Not any type of form of spider or anything. But look at the paint. Look at the bright. I love the way these wings look. It has a very Medusa feel to it. Even though obviously there's not. I don't believe those are snakes. Those are more like colorful dreads that she has. But this figure looks awesome, and I wonder how articulated. I didn't ask Oz how articulated the tails seem, but they seem way more articulated than what Masterverse did. And that's understandable because it's a much cheaper figure. But I'm definitely here. Okay, so it's Basilia. Basilia. No, it's Basilia, because I know that because I've heard them say it. Basilia. Yeah, I'm never going to remember. Names don't concern me. Okay, just know your G.I. Joe names. Half those I forget. So Basilia here. Yeah, fully articulated tail says, but I wonder like how articulated it is. But it does look like it's going to move pretty good. It doesn't look like it's on a wire. It's not on a wire, right? I don't know where Tony's mind is right now. But yeah, good looking figure. I think we're gonna see this tail a few more times, and I would say we probably should because you don't do stuff like this. Yeah, okay. So Oz is saying, yep, no wire ball joints. No, and that's awesome because wire only lasts for so long. It eventually breaks. So then on to our next figure. She has a dragon. Now this, I when I see this, all I can think of is the girl from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I didn't watch Power Rangers, so I don't remember her name. But I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But you got this cute little dragon with a stand, which, I mean, how can you be mad at that? And I think they said, like, it's because of the scale. If I remember correctly when I was talking to Oz, because of the scale, they can fit with, like, 1/18 scale figures. But they're not meant to go with 1/18 scale figures. But here she is. Rita. Thank you, Wade Hollison. See, I knew the name when someone said it, but I would have never remembered it. But you guys see that, right? It's not just me that sees like Rita from the Power Rangers. But once again, they just knock it out of the park. and again, they made some comments about female figures too. I gotta say, I'm a little over the whole like female figures thing. If you make cool figures, us nerds will buy cool female figures. Just like if you make really shitty male figures, we'll just make fun of it on the internet. So always have a nice wired cape. Well, it might not be wired, but a nice soft goods cape. Usually they have a wire. Sometimes the wire is not as good as you would hope. Here's Bat Boy or Wolf Boy. I don't know. He's a wolf. Kind of looks like a bat, right? This guy looks pretty damn cool. When it comes to this type of stuff, now I will say when you get the stuff like this here, this is where you do start to go. With Operation Monster Force coming out with their stuff, with what AWOC is doing, does it start to make people go, well, I can already get something that looks almost as good, but can do way better articulation. Now, Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen, they're never going to, they're always going to have their fan base, and they should because they do wonderful stuff. But it is, there does come that point that, you have to start, and I know they tried doing better articulation, but they still do suffer. Articulated Ninja, I know a lot of people really jumped on him. I agree and disagree with the video that he had, done. Most people aren't buying, Mythic Legions for the articulation, but at the same time, I think you're also losing a lot of people that would buy it that have better articulation. Because I can't tell you how many people have said, yeah, just not enough articulation for me. But again, the way that it looks, this thing is absolutely awesome. Because there is no AWOC figure that is even close to being detailed like this with the wonderful paint. And yes, I know that people probably yelling at me right now going, you don't know shit. I know. I love my Mythic Legends. All right. But yeah. So here you go. Figure is looking good. It is a hyena, huh? Because it kind of looks like a wolf and a bat. But I think that is a hyena. And I don't even want to go, I don't want to even get off on that about waiting. Where the fuck is my hyena, AWOC? Or shall I say, where the fuck is Hella Dope's hyenas at so they can shit me mine? Anyway, here you go. Cool looking figure. If you want it, get it when it comes out. All right. Here is a big, giant, mean guy who also has a snake body. Tell me what the hell is this guy's name here? Oz. I don't know how you guys remember these names. I mean, we're not talking about like G.I. Joes who have like words as part of their names. We're talking about made up completely. Well, I guess every word is made up according to Thor, and he's absolutely correct. All names are made up. But he has a snake style flame. I mean, you color this in, and you're going to get your, you can do your custom Globulus. As much as I hate to say it, we already know Globulus is going to come for G.I. Joe. But this guy looks like he is straight from hell. So if this guy is Satan and he's just coming out, he kind of gives me that tornado version. Genie. But yeah. So we give him some legs. That's cool. Everyone wants legs. Matthew Matson says that's a smoke and fire tail straight from the bottle. He's a genie. Okay. So he's a genie from hell. I will take your word for it. And Odin01 says, I usually get a new figure. I usually get a few figures a wave, but this might be the first one I get an all-in for. Yeah, they don't. They make it hard not to want everything. Cosmic Legions, not so much. Mythic Legions, yeah. Figure Obscura, for the most part, yeah. All right. I don't know where this picture came from. I don't know. There's another figure I missed. And I think there's a knight that I might have missed. He's got they have a Dungeons and Dragons style game coming, a role playing game where you get these little figurines. That looks like fun. Not really. But if you like Dungeons and Dragons, here you go, little figurines for your Dungeons and Dragons, Four Horsemen style game. I know people play. I know people play like they still play Magic the Gathering. I know people still play, Dungeons and Dragons. Do people play the offshoots of like they used to have that Star Wars card game? Is it still around? I know there's other games. I wonder how many people actually play those games and stuff. Just something that I'm thinking since it's on here. All right. They're going to be doing. I didn't fully understand this. I was also trying to work while listening to this. Yeah. So, Viper Scout, I would put Pokemon in the same category as like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. That is that thing is surviving and living on its own. Where I know people are playing that, but like again, other games like that, do people actually play with that? So, Oz says that picture was a new Silver Knight, basically the new Blue Shield Knight, but silver. Okay. So he's talking about this. So, and they do a lot of repaints, but again, that's part of this toy game. So this is part of the Infinite Legions or Legends. Now, the best that I can understand that they are going to be taking characters from other properties and kind of moving them into their lore. I'm correct on this, right, Oz? Like that's what they were trying to say. So this is like going to be like the first one that they're going to be doing. So imagine if like they worked out a deal with Hasbro and they decided and they got the rights to do a Snake Eyes, but in Mythic Legions lore. So you'd have Snake Eyes, and obviously you got Snake Eyes, you're going to ask for Storm Shadow. Or maybe they talk to Hasbro, and they're like, or not Hasbro, Marvel, and they're able to get, Wolverine, and they're going to do a Wolverine version and bring it into it. I think it's actually a pretty cool concept. It's kind of like McFarlane thinks that you should be able to do one figure from every property. Everyone should be able to do. They should be able to do one figure. He's a crazy dude, but it's actually kind of cool. But I'm not sure about that. Oz says, not lore, but making other characters using their system to make an action figure with their kind of sculpting and paint apps. Yeah, so kind of like putting in their fucking lore. Like, you're pretty much putting it in there. Soul Brother #1. What's good, Lawrence? Late, but I made it. Hey, you know what? Great to have you here. Anyway, and Tony says, Samus. And I knew that this reminded me of something. And now that you said Samus, I'm like, yep, I fully see it. So give me a fucking Metroid to go with it. I actually think this looks really cool. It looks more like a Cosmic Legion than anything from Mythic Legions, though. And then we have the Legacies of Mythos coming in 2025. Here is a big lion. Stepping on a rock. I should probably start writing shit down more. I spend so much time doing this. Like, someone will fucking fill me in if anyone really gives two shits about the name. I truly do think, like most people, when it comes to Mythic Legions or AWOC, unless if you're really into the line, you're going to call it whatever you want. If you're into the line, you're like, hey, that's what it is. No one's ever going to call Snake Eyes someone else. You know what I mean? Like if someone's like, I just really like Snake Eyes, I'm going to use them with my Marvel Legends. You're not going to name them something else or Storm Shadow. You're always going to use the proper name. But I think Mythic Legions, AWOC, stuff like that, where there's not this huge, there's not this long, 40, 50-year legacy or longer of names. They just call it whatever they want. Mendoza saying Simba. Lion King is my favorite my favorite Disney movie. Princess Leia is she's not even my favorite princess anymore. This is Leonidas, one of the great beasts. Okay. Like I said, I'll go with Simba. All right, I'll go with Simba. it's easier. It looks fucking badass. So it does look pretty damn badass. This is one of those guys. This is a guy that would be in a cage or some idiot would put their cell phone in it to try and take a picture, and then they'd get mauled. And well, yeah. He's got the. I mean, this looks like something from the Witch in the War. From Narnia. I never really. Yeah, like a lot of their characters can be from Narnia. Ooh, someone needs to make Narnia action figures. All right, well, there we go. So this is the Motor City Kitties, the Detroit Lions right here. The way they've been beating people, maybe this is them, right? It'd be a better logo than what they fucking have. If you put this figure on their helmet, I'd be happier. I'm not a Lions fan. I just live here, and I watch them because I live here. They win, they lose, they lose. Here is a guy with a stick. Oz, I think, is fucking totally flipping out, going, my God, you don't know fucking shit about anything here. All right, so I looked at this guy and I could not. I looked at this figure and I'm like, for the love of God, that looks like the guy that played Zod in the Zack Snyder Superman movies, the Man of Steel movies, right? Does that face sculpt not look like the actor that plays Zod, along with the really crappy hairdo that he had? Because he has like a bowl cut and some. But yeah, I just that's all I could see is Zod. Nah, just here. Nah, I know, but I know it drives people nuts. Wade Hollison says, hey, Punk, now that you say it would be cool if a toy company made a bunch of figures based on football teams, they don't have to be licensed by NFL. It's just something that would be that we would know. Oh yeah, they could do it, man. They could easily. People could easily do it, and you're absolutely right. You just kind of like put the colors of the Lions. I mean, you figure Lions, Panthers. Who brought it up? Oh, I was at work and someone said, we were talking about football teams, and out of nowhere he goes, you ever notice that all football teams are plural? We're like, what? And he's like, yeah, every football team is plural. The Jets, Lions, Giants. We were like, the Green Bay Packers, the Bears. I'm like, you son of the Cardinals, 49ers. I don't even know what a 49er is. But it's not like that with everything else. There are other sports leagues and teams that they're not plural. NFL teams, Snow Wolf, NFL teams. That's what I'm saying. Like all the NFL teams are plural. Anyway, Ronnie Trickshot says my football team is in plural. I support the Port Adelaide Power. The Power. Tony's Fix says 49er is a prospector. I have no idea. But Legend Series says 49ers refer to the miners that were mining for gold. You know what? Well, you know what? That makes sense because especially where they are. But I would not know that because I don't mine for gold. All right. What I do is I buy altcoins. That's what I do. I buy altcoins now. Anyway, guy looks cool. If you're into this night, that's awesome. But I can't unsee General Zod's head in that face right there. So here's another snake person. Hockey Town Arcade says, my bucket list con is not so much a con itself, but to be able to meet Larry Hama. Well, you better go to Joe Fest because I don't know if he has more coming. He said he's retiring, but I do know that he, if I remember correctly, if someone wants to correct me, I believe that it might be the last one, Joe Fest. But he was just at in Iowa. So Clint Jorgensen says, you didn't have a history class in a Western state. It's okay. You know about Paul Bunyan. Dude, I can't remember what I learned. Shark Guy says, don't lie, Lawrence. You've definitely dug for some gold at some point. We all have. Yeah, you're right. As a kid, you're damn right. We did. But I didn't know what it was called other than I'm a kid digging for gold. Because we always like using a little filter. Anyway, this guy looks pretty badass too. Again, they continue to make some awesome looking fucking figures. This cool shield. And they were talking about this. Again, I was catching stuff because I was trying to watch it. Or trying to listen to it while working. And they were talking about how, like, they would see something that they already have in their arsenal, and just with some paint, they could make it look completely different. And they were talking about these shields, and they're absolutely right. But yeah. But this guy, I mean, I gotta say, I really do like the way this thing looks. Wraith May says, I missed out on this. I went only Sunday, but not sure I would have purchased it as the dragon has all my attention. That dragon's not going to be that expensive. Anyway, cool looking figure. He's got like a weird... Ronnie Trickshot, isn't this the bat that you use in your cricket? Isn't that a cricket bat? Like, I'm pretty sure that is. 7 days of cricket. Or was it 5 days? Was it 5 days you play one game? Still haven't sat down to watch it. But here's everything that he comes with. I got everything out of order, that's for sure. All right. Kept the dragon for the end. So here is a look at this dragon. This dragon is massive. Ronnie says, I'll take that out for a hit. All right, so this dragon, if you have not seen it yet, Oz was kind enough to, on Punk's Pit, if you remember, you could have watched it, show us just how big this thing is. And so this is the base version, which goes up 22 inches and 31 inches long. Now, it has the tail curved here. I do believe the tail does straighten out, if I am correct, even on the base version. So the base version, and Oz, correct me if I'm wrong, still does have it does have some articulation, but it's not as articulated as the deluxe version. So this is pretty big. A 31-inch long figure is a pretty long fucking figure. So if you get the deluxe one, which is 28 inches high, and from tail to breath is 70 inches. And that's pretty fucking big. Now, you don't have to make it that long. You don't have to have the breath, be using the breath. You can also articulate the tail. Oz said that when you're looking at this and when he was showing off the video and he was like going over it, you really could not see where the articulation points are. The articulation, from what I can tell, is in the scales. So it's hidden extremely well. This thing looks absolutely amazing. I also noticed that the wings look a lot like fucking Nemesis Immortal. Just saying, guys. All you people that are saying, how could those wings make that guy fly? Well, how could these wings make a dragon fly? Oh, that's right, because they're not fucking real. Oz says, both versions have fully articulated. The deluxe there is different neck pieces to fully extend the neck. So that is the difference. Now, as it comes to the price point, they haven't talked about it. I am guessing that the regular version is going to be about $300. I'm guessing the deluxe version is about $500. You really, their figures aren't overly priced. $45 to $55 for base figures. You have army builders, then you have your name characters, which are usually about $55. That's not priced awful. And they do have some bigger boys that run, anywhere from $75 up into $100. Now, I think they're smart. They can look at what HasLabs have done. And, you look at G.I. Joe, where the G.I. Joe HasLabs, there hasn't been one that's gone for more than $325. And they own the property, just like they own this property here. They're not paying for it. They're not paying anything. So everything is profit. And these are being made, pre-ordered and made to however many are sold. I'm sure there will be a few extra that are bought because obviously they have to worry about issues if something breaks or whatever. But for the most part, I don't think that Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen, I don't believe that they would price out their buyer. Now, they know not everyone can afford it, okay? Even at $500, even at $300. But they can look and say, hey, look at these G.I. Joe guys. They will buy, they'll buy a $325 HasLab that quickly. Marvel Legends, if it's good. The Ghost was almost $500. I think it was $450, right? Or was it $550? So they can look at those prices and go, all right, we know what collectors will pay top scale, right? You can look at the Cat Slayer, which was, I think, $550. $650 because you had to pay for shipping. And people bought it. But I think more people will buy this than the Cat Slayer because Super 7 is shitty. As made to order, only available through Four Horsemen, not going to be available through the retailers, which is very disappointing because I was going to throw out that you could purchase this through Hella Dope Toys and use my code APWT and get that 10% discount. But you can't. But do you know how much money I'd have to pay them at the end of the month? D. Griff says, should have multiple choices for breath weapons. The classic Dungeons and Dragons Green Dragon has a cone of poisons. Now, did they say anything about there would still be more? I don't know if they showed off everything. So anyway, here's how big this thing is. Now, if you have a horse, and I do have two of these horses, these things are a really nice size. They will fit 7-inch figures, but you can put a G.I. Joe on it and they fit the 6-inch figures perfectly fine too. They're just a big stallion. But you can see what what a base figure looks like. You can see what the big ogres look like, and you can see exactly how big this is. Now, when I look at this, it does not look too big, right? It is a very massive looking, it's a big, massive size figure, no doubt about that. But I don't think it's too big, where it's like, oh my God, how could you do something like this? It is smaller than the aircraft carrier, and that is, from what I understand, they said that they want to see this on an aircraft carrier. They want to see how it actually compares. I just can't believe that there aren't people that have a USS flag that also are in the Mythic Legions that are going to buy this and throw it on there. I just can say that if this was in my price range, I would definitely buy it, and I would turn that whole room into a photo shoot room just for these two things. Which I should probably do more with Megatron attacking it, but and Oz says this is the first of 5 pillars. There will be 4 more, and no one understands what the pillars are, including myself. Anyway, here it is. This thing is amazing, and I don't think these pictures did it justice. From what, like when Oz did a walkthrough and showed us behind the casing. I don't even think these pictures do it justice, from what I could see. And I said the same thing about our, about that cat's lair. Like, you don't understand the actual size till you're sitting there with it. And again, this is coming from someone who, woke up a Christmas morning and had a USS flag. So, I do know about the largest toys ever made. And when you see the cat's lair, you know how big it is. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, I know how big that horse is. All right. And that horse, it looks tiny compared to it. All right. Legend Series says it was pretty awesome to see in person. I won't lie, brother. No, and I can only imagine because I am not a Super 7 fan. I think I made that perfectly clear. But when I saw the cat's lair, it really gave it gave the size. Once you see it in person, I don't think pictures really did it justice. That's why all these people that say they want a classified scale flag. I hope people realize, like, the flag is already scaled down for the O-ring. And people are like, we can just scale it down a little. No, you fucking can't. Dude, if you want to do the fucking superstructure, it would be gigantic. But that's why when people say they want that, I'm like, you've never seen a flag in real life, have you? And people would, like, jump down my throat and snap at me. I'm like, I'm only saying this because if you actually sat there in front of the O-ring flag, you know exactly how big it is and how much space it takes up, that you wouldn't even think about, oh, they could do a classified version. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, I'll take it. Well, yeah, it sounds great, but do you know how big that would be, KJ? I mean, it sounds good, but that'd take up your fucking wall. It would be massive. All right. On to a little bit of Haya. Now, I do have the Haya Cobra Commander. I think it's a pretty good figure. I don't think it's great. I think the hype of them is maybe a little too much, considering we've had so many versions of these figures for what you have to pay to get them. I do think some of them look really awesome, but Haya has a problem when it comes to human faces. And it has been pointed out, but the more that I see these, the more that I look at these, and I'm just like, you know what? I will probably pick up the Viper. I will probably pick up the Cobra Trooper because I've wanted one of those Cobra Troopers in 1/18 scale. the classified version. But fucking goddamn, these next figures are ugly as shit. Look at that. Like, that is like, that fucking Baroness looks like the goddamn Penguin. All right? Put a little fucking top hat on her and give her a fucking long ass cigarette, and you have the fucking Penguin. Man, this thing looks awful. And I don't understand how you can make it look so awful when all you're doing is taking the fucking classified design and putting it there. But any chance of me wanting to go all in on these, fuck, really went away as I kept seeing more and more face sculpts. And these ones look awful. So this Baroness, I mean, you take that head sculpt and you're like, dude, that is awesome. This is awful. Kenzo says she looks like she's smelling a bad fart. Ted Darklaw has joined us. You know what? While Ted's here, I want to play. Well, I just want to take a breather. But if you missed the streamathon, then you missed some pretty good shit. And you know what? Because Ted's here.
Oh, hey guys, welcome to the 36-hour Punk with Toys for Tots streamathon. Yeah! So we all know Lawrence, sometimes he can be a little bit sassy. But for the next 36 hours, Lawrence, he's raising money for Toys for Tots. And so he's going to take all the money that this channel makes, so through your super chats and your super stickers or your memberships or all the monies, guys. And he's going to use that to go to Sergeant Reds and buy toys and donate them directly to Toys for Tots. But don't worry, you don't have to just watch Lawrence for 36 hours. He's bringing actually a lot of friends to come help. A lot of great content creators like Allison Troy, Punks on Film, Ostradamus Toys Clubhouse, Helidope Toys, and just a whole bunch more, guys. And you can support just by sending a super chat or becoming a channel member or even maybe just reaching out to Lawrence with a direct donation. There's also a note here from Lawrence. What does that say? It says, tell them I'm not just going to buy G.I. Joe figures and gridiron stuff with the money. So we got 36 hours, guys. So let's go ahead and grab our favorite can of spicy barbecue Pringle chips and just sit back and enjoy all the amazing content.
Now I know that has no bearing in today because that was for the streamathon, but Ted put a lot of hard work into it, so I still have to show them because they're fucking hilarious. I still laugh at me angry with a Santa hat on. All right, so the picture of the Baroness doesn't look bad, but it looks nothing like the character. So I'm not a big fan of what Haya's doing when it comes to any of these faces. All right, packaging looks fine, I guess. There is something that is amiss without the white border. It's not a deal breaker. But that white border really, I mean, it really showcases a figure for G.I. Joe. So, I think they should have done it. And then we have Major Blood. Oh, God. I think this one may be worse than this one might be worse than the Baroness. That looks awful. The helmet looks too small. Now, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just that. Remember, this is just a classified version. And I can't say that original Baroness is a great figure, considering she has a lot of issues. But this Major Blood in classified form is one of the best fucking figures. And this thing looks awful. Like, I have no urge to even want it. I look at how bad that thing looks, and I'm like, dude, this ain't a fucking $10 figure. Even a $15 figure. You're paying classified dollars for this just to get it. And I think and more because they don't sell them over here, because God forbid that they be able to make them over here and sell them. So you got to go through other parties. 3-star draw says, wow, Major Blood looks like Funhouse mirror reflection. Allison Troy says, Major Blood looks like he just tried to touch me without permission. Dude, there's just so much wrong. Matthew says best classified figure to worst high ends. It just, I mean. So there's his backpack. I'm fine with that, you know. But, and that's just the classified artwork right there. It just does not look good. All right, it just, there's so much wrong with this. But, and again, that's just a classified figure right there. And I kind of feel bad for Lenny because they're just able to take his design and do whatever they want with him. Because once he does the design, then obviously it's owned by, it's owned by Hasbro, and they're just obviously licensing it to him. So, anyway, that's the Haya. I'm just not a fan of it. It just, all right. We got some leaks of some figures for G.I. Joe. So we'll start with Leatherneck. We got to see Leatherneck. I did not put in Larry Neck. But it looks like he's pretty much done. This is what he's going to look like. Everything. There's his M4 with the grenade launcher, a couple fists, knife, his pistol with the extended magazine, his marine cover, and his shooting glasses. I think this figure looks awesome. I'll be really interested to see exactly how these vests work with everything. So here we have what's his name? Dark Leon, I don't know, it was after my time. Now, this is what Hasbro was trying to do. Well, Sherlock, you can only have a poll with 4. And unfortunately, I'm not putting 2 G.I. Joe ones when we know that Joe Fest would crush it no matter what. But San Diego Comic-Con and Joe Fest are tied with only 83 votes, which means that you guys aren't hitting that like button to get more people to show up here. But anyway, this is one of the Joes that are coming out. Hasbro did that whole Boba Fett thing and some of the Star Wars ones. Black King says, "A Dark Man 3, die, Darkland, die." Can't wait to see Thanos. Can't wait to see what Thanos Copter does with Larry Neck. Thanos Copter ain't gonna do shit. All right. Anyway, the mixing of the colors. This is what car companies do when they put those bras on the different things. They put that ugly coloring so you can't fully see the design. They're doing the same thing with this, with the different colors. But yeah, there is the first picture of him. There he is from the back. I don't remember this figure. This was after my time, as I was on my way out. Playing with G.I. Joe and moving on to running a four-wheel menace to society. But we're seeing these pictures. Okay, so what we have here in the middle here is Breaker from what looks like is his cartoon colors. Now, there is rumors of a new Breaker, and that rumor is supposed to be a Tiger Force Breaker. That is what Chris McLeod had reported, and then it didn't come to fruition. Now, Chris McLeod is not Viper Island. He is not Shark News, who he'll throw things out there because he heard it somewhere else. He throws stuff out there because he's been told by the team, and it's now been reported. But there has been no talk that there is a Sunbow version, but people have posted the pictures, Breaker from Sunbow, and this really does kind of match that color. And since we do know that there's another Breaker that is coming, this kind of works. This clearly is not going to be the retro carded one because he was green. So I don't know. The guy next to him, does anyone know who the guy right next to him is? Because I can't figure out who that is. especially with the hair and everything. So I'm not sure exactly who the guy is next to him. I didn't even see anyone. I don't know if that's another buzzer or if that's just buzzer. I think that's just buzzer next to him, probably showing the height and everything. A lot of people, George Michael is not that ugly. No, Zap has the mustache. Does he not? Oh well, no, and in some things he doesn't. In some case he doesn't. But that face sculpt, I can't figure out looking at that face sculpt who that is. So I don't think it's Retro Breaker. I don't think it's Footloose. Because Footloose looks nothing like that. So I don't know, but I haven't heard. I was just trying to figure out if that's just another figure that was kind of thrown up there. 3-star says, can't tell if it's a new buzzer. If they were standing, you'd be able to tell because buzzer would be the only one. I don't have a problem standing buzzer. I have no problem standing buzzer. I think that's just there for the size comparison, and to show you, hey, this is another Joe next to it. But I can't figure out who this guy is, and I haven't heard anyone say anything about him. So here's the back of him. So the plate carrier that he's wearing, where is it at here? So this plate carrier is Grunt's plate carrier, which is not the classic version, which I guess makes sense because this isn't the retro version yet. But yeah, I haven't been able to figure out who this guy is next to him. And I have a feeling like once we find out, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But this is odd because there has been no talk about a Sunbow versions. I've already said like they need to do the humane thing to Super 7 and go, hey, just stop making Ultimates because we're going to end up making these figures and no one wants your shitty looking stuff. Just do the humane thing, man. Just put them out of their misery. Here we have heavy metal, heavy duty, backwards cap. I think the figure looks really good. I just think he's a shitty figure. He's a shitty character, not a figure. He's a shitty character. But I think this figure actually looks pretty good. I can't imagine that I will have that big rocket on him. With all that said, I might actually change my mind because they've made some really crappy characters that I didn't want made. And I'm like, yep, they're actually pretty damn badass. Menhoza says short fuse maybe. I would say that somebody that is more into the comic might know because it's looking at the hair, but he looks like he's almost fully painted. Their eyes aren't painted, but their hair looks to be painted. And short fuse, if I remember correctly, is blonde. But it could just be the hair painted a different color to throw people off. Because I'm looking at not so much the hair color. The hair color does kind of play a little bit into it, but the way the hair actually looks. And I can't figure out who that would be. So, Breaker looks more like Chuck Norris. He kind of does. But he also doesn't have eyes and everything. So, you do have to look at that. He also looks like he has a really long neck, and the guy next to him has a really short neck. So, Grav, it looks very similar to the Ramen toys. That's why I was trying to figure out if it's even a G.I. Joe figure, but it has to be a classified figure. I kind of thought that it looked somewhat like a flight suit also. But who would have the flight suit? I mean, could they do an Ace? I mean, it's not the color of aces. Or maybe it's an actual pilot. Maybe it's an actual Air Force pilot. Maybe it's not even one of the characters. So you might be something onto it. You might be onto something there. Anyway, there's the back of Heavy Duty. Again, he's so stupid character. Here's our first look at the firefighter, which, if I am correct, actually, I think I might have heard Matthew say this. He is reusing Snow Job's body, which is perfectly fine because it works. Like, I look at this and I'm like, God damn, it looks more like a snowsuit, or it looks more like a fireman's suit than an actual snowsuit. I am really excited for these figures. Is it Frostbite and Spy Gear? Wait, who's that? Clint Jorgensen says, is it Frostbite and Spy Gear? Well, the last one? Isn't Frostbite? I gotta say, it kind of does look like Frostbite if you give him a mustache. I have a beard or a mustache. Yeah, beard. But they're not deviating, I don't think, from putting them in other alternate uniforms. Like I did, putting Snow Job in, the jungle, in that jungle outfit. They should do that because they need to create characters. Stanley has joined us. Great to see you here. No. The bearded guy, this is Breaker. I wish you could see my. You can't see my mouth. So I keep trying to point to it. The bearded guy is Breaker. It's the guy next to him that looks like the guy always plays the bad guy. He played the bad guy in Cobra. So here's our firefighter. Here's the back of him. Again, I'm excited for these figures. I like doing first responders. I'm assuming we'll get a police officer. We'll probably get a SWAT officer, which will also be really cool, considering they already have the make of one for the most part. You definitely have to hope that they do a paramedic, EMT for Tony. But, I mean, seriously, they are kind of important. Doctors have already been done, so that's an easy repaint to do doctors. You have to have a nurse, right? I mean, you're building out this world. Now, I know that we were told that you can't world build with this, but for some odd reason, I feel like they're proving that you can. But I want to see first responders. I mean, I want to see more first responders. And then you can pick through your Marvel Legends to actually get, regular street people. A lot of guys, in suits and different things like that. So they are building a world. So Kenzo says he wants a prison guard. Only if he comes with a prison. All right, like if he comes with a cell, that would actually be pretty damn cool. Rollkeeper says, was a street cop for 25 years. I love more first responders. I think we're going to get more of them. I really do. And I hope, I guess, like mentioning that, this guy here kind of looks like a flight suit. After saying that, that kind of makes me think maybe, maybe this is going to be, because they're dropping the 60th anniversary, but they're keeping that line. It's going to be called, someone tell me what it's called. I forget exactly what it's called. But, I mean, this guy looks like he could be a helicopter pilot from Vietnam. So just a helicopter pilot in general. They already have everything that goes with it. So maybe that's exactly what you're looking at it. Matthew, I'm not reading that. Not reading that, Matthew. You're supposed to be better than that. All right. Here is our outhouse guard or porta potty guard. I love these colors. I think they look awesome. I'm so glad that they are using a different buck, or at least parts of a different buck. even though you can stand those figures, those shin guards suck. And again, I don't hate the shin guard. I didn't care. I just hated that how it was made, that it messed with the articulation. Tony says it's a rough draft of Footloose. It's all Footloose, save for the head sculpt. Okay. What have you said? So anyway, you have the heads up on the shield. I really like that. It's just a neat design, you know. But I believe, and I mentioned this before, you know, are they going to start making different molds, using different molds for characters? And the answer is yes. Chris McLeod has already said that Falcon is going to be a new sculpt. He wouldn't be saying that if he didn't, if he wasn't told that. We obviously seen Duke, Beachhead, different sculpts from the original. Changing the Viper one, to me, that is a huge thing. That is saying we will not just stick with it. So, Ed says maybe it'll be homage to the 64 G.I. Joe action pilot. See, that might, yeah. I think we're all looking at characters. At least I was, and I think that might just be it. That it is going to be something, and I don't know what they call in the line. If B's Battleground was still here, I think he knows what it's called. I forget what it's called, but they're dropping the 60th anniversary because it won't be 60th anniversary. But they're going to have that, you know, that new line, and I have a feeling, and that actually makes sense, Ed. That makes sense. All right, so here is a first look at the Claw Pilot. And again, it is just the female Valkyrie that we've gotten with a few different. We got it with a few different. We got the Valkyries, and then we got it with the Ferret. So this is Claw Pilot. I like the color scheme. The black with the accents and hints of the blue, I think really make it work with the Cobra symbol right there. These female figures are really good. If you didn't get the Valkyries, look for it when they go on sale, when they pop back up. They are really good figures to have. And there's nothing wrong with having female Cobra Troopers. Sherlock here says, Claw Pilot looks good. I'm concerned about the person's thumb, though. God damn it. Dude. Okay, well, I guess. Dude, something ain't right with that hand, man. Like, Sherlock, dude, there's something wrong with that fucking hand, all right? Like, fuck, dude. Like, you guys see it, right? Like, there's so much wrong with this hand, like the way the pointer finger and the middle finger are separated. Like, there's a giant fucking gap there. Like, there's a fucking mongoloid handling this figure. All right. Holy shit. Yeah, Matthew, you're the doctor. All right. If so, oh my God. This picture now has taken a whole new life of its own. It has nothing to do with the figure. A matter of fact, could we get another picture of just your hand? Holy shit, dude. Clint Yorgensen says, do you recommend getting separate port or portal potties for the Valkyries? Or can they all use the same Dreadnoks latrine? No, hey, portal potties are, hey, use them at your own will. All right? Use them at your own discretion. You shit where you shit. Come one, come all. All right. I gotta move on from the hand because I could do a whole 3 hours on this fucking hand and trying to figure out. So I'm like trying to look at my thought. Like I'm trying to do. Man. All right, we're gonna move on because. So then this came out. So this is Slice and Dice, and this is coming from J-Con. J-Con. So it's not Sharik Khan, right? J-Con 7, not S-Con. Now, I don't know if I have... maybe I missed it, but was there any talk of Slice and Dice coming at this point? Because I've heard nothing. And looking at these, man, these are just, they're completely, they're not anything that I had expected to see. That is for damn sure. But we do have Slice and Dice. I don't really need these figures right now. This guy here, they gave him so much shit. Now, I was trying to figure out if this is, like, if these were, like, customs, or maybe someone else was doing something different. But that sword is to the Crimson Garden, which I don't know why you'd give him that at all. But this is, this is interesting that they decided to go with these two figures. Now, I do think they needed to come out at the same time. It was after my time, and I really didn't care too much about them. But yeah, this is very, very unique that they just kind of threw these out. I'm kind of at the point that I don't need that many more ninjas. Right? I know we're gonna get them. I'm a little ninja out. Ninja'd out. But I guess we do have to even them out, considering they've never done another red ninja. That's kind of odd, right? I mean, they did give the blue ninja, but here you're going to get Slice and Dice. So now you can have someone go up against, Nunchuck and Kamakura, figures like that. So, no, I'm not saying they're not a must. I'm just saying I don't feel I need them this early on. We're 5 years in, so it's not really that early on. But I'm surprised. Like I've heard nothing about this until this thing just kind of fucking popped up. Liquid Identity says, just as I commit to a whole ninja self, S&D leak, awesome. Slice and Dice, awesome. All in on this 2-pack. I doubt it'll be a 2-pack, considering they couldn't do the Crimson Twins in a 2-pack. So here's the different head sculpts. We obviously know the two right there. And I don't think the first one here, that turquoise one, that it looks like it was from the 90s Pistons, Grant Hill era. If you're a basketball fan, you know exactly that stupid teal. I don't know if he ever came with something like that. But it is cool that they're going to give different head sculpts because then you can use it on, the Blue Ninja pack, which is a really good pack. But we do have a lot of ninjas, to be honest. We do have a whole shitload of ninjas. No, he is not. No, he is not. But yeah, so there we go. That's I think that's it. That's all the G.I. Joe news. But I was kind of shocked that these guys kind of came out of nowhere. I didn't see that happening at all. But yeah, so we're going to get those very soon. But yeah, who knows when. So I know there are some YouTubers that say they cannot wait for the classified line to die. They say, what are these YouTubers going to do that are only doing classified when classified dies? Now, First off, I don't think it's going to be for a while. Second off, I don't think any YouTubers that do only classified reviews, I don't think that's how they make their living. I might be wrong. So I think they'll be just fine. I think they'll be just fine. Yes, the Pistons is another but there are some other ones. We went through it. And I'm just trying to think of, because I know we went through hockey and we went through baseball. There were some that were not plural, but in football, they're all plural. It was just one of those things the guy threw at us, and we were just kind of like, let's see here. And we're just going, I'm like, motherfucker, like every single football team is plural. And yeah, most teams are, but there are some, I can't think of them any right now. Someone will come in and the Lightning, right? The Lightning, they're not plural, not the Lightnings. But anyway, yeah, the Jazz. Jazz is not plural. Alex Smith. Have you thought about coming back, dude? I think there's some teams that need Alex Smith as a quarterback. At Miami Heat, yeah, they actually mentioned the Miami Heat. That's not plural. Yeah, this is anyway. All right. I'm going to before we go on, what I want to do is I'm going to play a commercial from a guy that you know, the moderator. He also does a show on Tuesdays. It starts at the same time that Ed and Travis, they do theirs, but they refuse to give me a commercial, so I can't play their commercial. But what I can do is I can stop and play you a little commercial from the big show.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news discussions and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
All right, so if you're not watching, please head over to Pop Blender's channel, give them a like and a subscribe, and then you can watch their show. Also, while you're at it, please head over to Action Fakes, like, subscribe, and go watch his first. They start at 9 p.m. Those guys start at 10. So please, both of you, pop in your channels. If you already have a link to whatever your live stream is, put that in there so everyone can just head on over there, hit that remind me button so you don't miss it. I'm trying to check and see if, yeah, this label is not fucking moving. It's just sitting over in Chino. So who's close to Chino, California, you can shoot on over and pick up my HasLab, and maybe you can ship it out to me, even though, or just drop it off at FedEx. Like, you can do that. Like, you can, hey, can we have this box? I'm gonna run it over to FedEx for Punk so he can get it sometime, I don't know, before December. That would be cool. All right. So as for the topic, there was 3 conventions going on today, or this weekend. One was Motor City Comic Con, which I didn't go to because I've been to it a few times. And unless you're really looking for a lot of vintage things or you want signatures, a lot of these local ones, even though they're larger than, let's say, Legion's Con and It's not Codename Iowa. It is what the hell's the name of the one? What was the one in Iowa? The G.I. Joe one in Iowa. It keeps on fucking. It keeps on escaping my mind. Assembly required. Thank you. Like Motor City Comic Con is way bigger than those. It's way bigger than Joe Fest, but it is also not eccentric. They're not bringing in toy makers. They're bringing in Artist Alley. You know, like they have an Artist Alley where they have different, artists. They bring in a lot of actors, and there's a lot of shows that are like that. I'm sure everyone that lives in a big metropolitan area has a show just as big as Motor City Comic Con. But I'm talking about, and I don't think that would be on anyone's bucket list, unless if you're just a kid and you don't really understand what the bucket list is. And we have talked a lot about Joe Fest because so many of us went to Joe Fest. And I think that one has kind of become the bucket list for most people just because we kind of talked about what it is. And it's not, again, it could be a fucking Barbie. That show could have been about fucking Barbie and it didn't matter. You know, we had such a blast all hanging out together. Kenzo, this is absolutely not true. People love Michigan. It's Ohio that people don't want to go to for very good reasons. Main reason is it's Ohio. But I wanted to, discuss a few of these places. And maybe you guys, have some on the bucket list that we're, a few on the bucket list that we don't, that we haven't discussed. And I just threw up 4, and people wonder why I only threw up 4 is that, well, YouTube only allows you to put up 4 options. So I threw in San Diego Comic Con, Joe Fest, PowerCon, and Allegiance Con. I'm being 100% honest. I think San Diego Comic Con is the bucket list for most collectors. This is a very Joe-centric stream, Joe-centric audience. I do understand that. But I know I also got a lot of, Four Horsemen guys. And I got a lot of PowerCon guys. So I threw in, San Diego Comic Con, Joe Fest. PowerCon is one of those was like, I don't know, dude. There's rumors. I mean, it's supposed to come back, but who knows? And then Legion's Con because that just happened. Joe Fest and San Diego Comic Con literally being 1% from each other, with San Diego Comic Con leading isn't really a shock. And for me, my bucket list is going to San Diego Comic Con. I've discussed this before. That is where I do want to go, just because of the event that it is and everything that they put into it. And if my daughter continues to live in San Diego, eventually I will go there because I'll have a nice place to stay for free. All right, but we're gonna walk through a few of these, and we'll just start off with Joe Fest. And again, I think we all know what so many of us have said about Joe Fest. This convention wasn't a great convention because it was Joe-centric. It was a great convention because of the people that we got to hang out with. I do fully believe that if I'm able to go next year, again, it is an expensive event. And what I mean by that, it's not expensive to go there. It is expensive because if you're not sharing a room with someone, if you're driving, you're flying, whatever, it's going to cost a lot of money. I don't know if something could beat this year just because I met so many people. It would be almost impossible to meet that many people for the first time again. Going there, I had met Ed, I met John, I had met Mega J. There were a few other people, but for the most part, meeting Tony, Travis, Ken's not here. Don't tell him. It was great to meet so many of these people for the first time. So I don't know if for us who went there the first time, but I will say there's all those other guys, Ray Murphy and them that, came over from across the pond. They are like, yep, can't wait to be here next year. And that is my goal, to go every single year. But knowing that you're going to put that much money into it, it kind of takes away from, if you can do other things. Many of us have families. They cost a lot of money. There's one of the reasons why Matthew's like, I just can't make it there. And I fully understand that. And again, most of us don't do a great job of, where we invest our money. I'll go into toys. But I think Joe Fest was going to be one of the biggest ones. And again, there were so many people there because even though it is called Joe Fest, it is, there's nothing Joe there anymore other than the vendors that bring stuff in there and what the people talk about. Since Hasbro won't send their people there, you have Mythic Legions there. Skeletron is there, Delta 17, how they fucking, Super 7 is there. Obviously, Fresh Monkey Fiction with BBTS. They were all there. And it's now just called Joe Fest. And it's always going to have some Joe aspects, I believe, to it. But it's no longer a true Joe convention. And I'm perfectly fine with that. It's the destination of where it's at. This hotel pretty much lets you do whatever the fuck you want for Thursday through Sunday night. They let you do whatever the hell you want, as long as you're not causing too much trouble. And to be honest, we were loud and rowdy. They didn't care. So I think this is going to be on a lot of the bucket list here. Legions Con. What I saw from Legions Con, it felt like it is a lot like Joe Fest. A lot of people stayed in the same hotel. They stayed in the same hotel. Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen, they are showcasing new product. Now, at Joe Fest, there was nothing new shown off, right? I take that back. There was, from the smaller companies, there were, but it wasn't like big reveals. Not like San Diego Comic-Con where they reveal a whole bunch of stuff, or New York Comic-Con where they're revealing a whole bunch of stuff. But at Legions Con, Four Horsemen is revealing all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I know. I hold on. I retracted that. But Legions Con, to me, from what I saw, kind of has the same feel. This is where I think Joe Fest is much bigger from what I could tell. The one thing that Joe Fest has going for it that Legions Con doesn't is, well, it might have been hot as fuck in Atlanta or in Georgia. Legions Con looked cold as shit where they were at. And I will take 110 degrees with fucking humidity over what I was seeing at Legions Con. And I couldn't tell if Oz was smoking or that was just his breath. But I think this is one that I definitely do want to go to. It is, they're all within driving other than San Diego Comic-Con. I can't just drive there in one day. And I missed Legions Con literally by a week. I didn't even realize it last year. I had to go down there for an event, which if I would have made it this year, I would have been there this week at the end. And I probably would have altered my vacations and gone to Legions Con and stayed there the whole week. God, that sounds awful being in Jersey that long. Because there's not much there. Oz says I was smoking and I almost set myself on fire. Was that to stay warm? But the thing I like about Legions Con is so many people that I've gotten to know, whether it be Brick, Joe Gonsalves here, who's going to be on this Thursday, Oz, who I've met numerous times already, Ziggy was there. There's so many other people that are there that I think it would have that exact same feel as Joe Fest. So this is one that is on my bucket list for sure. San Diego Comic-Con, as I already mentioned. This here, I think this should be on everyone's bucket list that is a toy collector or a comic collector. I know it is an expensive ticket to begin with. I don't think that Well, I think for a lot of us, it doesn't pertain anymore because we are so wrapped up in this community that we would know so many people at any convention. If I went to San Diego Comic-Con, there would be numerous people that I know that are there that know who I am and who I know and that I have talked to. That it would be, I think, a great time. Now, unfortunately, from what I can tell, is that you're not really, no one stays there at the convention. Everyone is all over, but you're all in, San Diego. So I guess if you stayed there, I understand it's pretty damn expensive because from what I understand, those hotel rooms go way up, which is one of the reasons why there's rumors they might move. I don't think they're going to move from San Diego, to be 100% honest. I mean, San Diego Comic Con, I've heard people say they need to rotate it. Well, then that kind of defeats the purpose of being San Diego Comic Con. Sometimes you just can't do things. Collectors have to understand sometimes you just don't get things you want. It's okay, all right? You will survive. But I think this needs to be on everyone's bucket list because there's so much stuff. But you don't get the little guys. You don't get the Four Horsemen. You're not going to get AWOC. But you are going to get what Mattel is going to show off and what Hasbro is going to show off. And let's be honest, they have a lot of product. And even stuff you may not even care about. It's cool to see new stuff. Johnny Reed says, Mexicans don't have bucket lists. We just have shit we'll get to eventually. Can be called a taco list. New York Comic Con. Now, this is one that is, I don't know if how many people feel like I have to get to New York Comic Con, but I feel like for this year especially, they showed off some crazy, they showed off a lot of new stuff. And maybe I'm wrong. Am I mistaken on that? I feel like they showed off a lot of stuff. I don't know how many people really want to go to New York for a show, but this is one of the bigger ones, and it's spaced pretty evenly away from San Diego Comic Con, in my personal opinion. But they do show off a lot of stuff. You're going to get Mezco there. You get Hasbro. They'll actually show up there. San Diego Comic Con and New York Comic Con are like the only places. They're like, Joe Fest? Wait a minute. You're telling me someone has done a con about our brand that all they would like is for us to show up there? We can't be bothered. Just crazy. Oz says, I think the big reveal at New York Comic Con was because Toy Fair was supposed to be happening in September this year, but they canceled. Oh, I mean, it could be. But New York Comic Con is a big show, and I'm sure it is on a lot of people's bucket list because they can say, hey, you know what? I've never been to New York. I can go there. I can enjoy this, and I can also check out New York while I'm there. Matthew says New York Comic Con is greater than San Diego Comic Con. Now, why do you say that, Matthew? I'm just interested in why you would say that. Because, I mean, I think I would rather go to San Diego. I mean, they're both going to be out of our price range. Especially for me, I can say that. No. They just stopped going there. It had nothing to do with the Valaverse people. There were a lot of people that stopped going to Joe Fest because of Valaverse. But once they were no longer associated with it, I was told that people started coming back because they were happy that he wasn't there. And then we get PowerCon. Again, rumors are PowerCon's coming back. I don't know. The fact that there hasn't been any talk of it, there was rumor he wanted to do every other year. Because just like for Joe Fest, it's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and little money that he actually makes doing it. And I know people say, oh, I would do this for free. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do this for free. You wouldn't spend a year stressed out trying to get people to show up. Who's going to be there? Are people really going to buy booze? Renting out the place for free. You want to make some money in your investment. Stanley, PowerCon is now takes place in the absolute worst city in the United States, and that is Columbus, Ohio. Now, PowerCon used to be in California, and then when Mattel disassociated themselves with it, the promoter was like, well, why the fuck am I going to go all the way across the fucking country if Mattel's not even going to be associated with it? So he moved it to Columbus because I believe he's much closer to Columbus. I don't know if he's in Columbus or not. But yeah, so now it takes place in Columbus, if it actually takes place. It did have its, it did have its interesting aspects of having another con connected to it. Not in the same. This convention hall was huge, but they had like a furry convention or something like that. Matthew says, I think Detroit or Chicago is the worst city in the whole USA. No, dude, Baltimore is worse. Oz, would you agree Baltimore is worse than Detroit? I ain't saying Detroit's good. Detroit has some fun aspects of the downtown area. That's about it. But PowerCon is another version of Joe Fest, another version of Legion's Con. I just think it's probably bigger than I think it's bigger than Legion's Con. It was not bigger than Joe Fest. At least not where they had it. I liked PowerCon because you could walk around and not smash into people the whole time. There was a lot of open space. Mondo had a fucking huge fucking space, which they need because their fucking stuff is so goddamn big. Oz says Baltimore is a terrible shithole, overpriced for sure. Worldkeeper says Baltimore sucks and I live 15 minutes from there. Now you sound like me talking about Detroit. But I like PowerCon. They bring in a lot of independent toy companies. I know when I was there, the Four Horsemen. To be honest, it's more like the Four Horsemen show. Although they have Legion's Con, right? It's more like the Four Horsemen show, to be 100% honest, because they were so highly connected to Masters of the Universe and the stuff that they were doing. But you had AWOC there, Valiverse was there, Boss Fight Studios. That's where I saw the Super 7 stuff. NECA shows up there. NECA was not at Joe Fest. That would have been nice if they showed up at Joe Fest. But I think Joe Fest has become that where they are now pulling the independents because a lot of these older Joe guys are just kind of dying off. How many times can you buy the same O-ring? You can't. And since they don't want to bring anyone there with the classified line, and you cannot just solely, say, okay, well, let's just solely go to the classified. So, hey, it's called Joe Fest, but we'll bring in other things. Jolanta, I know nothing about Jolanta, to be 100% honest. I just know there's something there. It's like Atlanta. They bring in some of the independents. But I think the independents, they can only go to so many places, right? Like if you're an independent toy company, like AWOC, Boss Fight Studios, NECA should have the money to go to whichever ones that they want. NECA Super 7. They should be able to go do whichever ones they want. But Ramen Toys, like, they have to pick their poison. And I feel like, in all honesty, Joe Fest and PowerCon are the two ones that really fit into what they're doing. So Jolanta, I'm not sure who's been to Jolanta because I know it just happened not too long ago. What is the vibe on it? Because I know Valiverse went down there. I'm not sure what other companies were down there. But yeah. But I'm not sure if this is. I've never heard anyone say, I got to go to Jolanta. And it sounds like Gelante. Gelato. So that's what I hear. Matthew says, yep, Joe fans are dying off. We are near our 50s, and the 12-inch collectors are almost gone. That's true. I hope there's a new love for G.I. Joe with Classified, but still a demising retirement. Diminishing return. I don't fucking know. Return. See, like this. See, I was right. Okay, so Andrew Taylor says Jolanta was a nice show, not huge, but a lot of good dealers. And see, that's the biggest thing. Like for me, when it comes to if it's a show that's more about the dealers, that sounds like it's about drugs. I have Motor City Comic Con I can go to, which they broke up into two, and I have lots of different ones. Not to mention, when it comes to older stuff, you guys saw Sergeant Rides. I can probably get anything that I need. I can probably get every single G.I. Joe figure that I don't have. I'm talking about the Overy line. He probably has it somewhere. And now with the warehouse, I can probably go in there and find every single figure that I really want or need. But yeah. Trying to read this. Musa Bust. Jolanta was chill. Valiverse, AWOC, Brutal Realm, and Savage Crucible went this year. Yeah, and there's so many different ones. Like Savage Crucible was also at Joe Fest. I know because he remembered that I threw his figure in my review. I didn't. It was a toss. Matthew says guests and friends are the draw for me. Yeah, and that's why like Motor City Comic Con is super expensive. And if you take two kids and you're not buying anything, like you're going to be buying stuff for them, but if I'm not going somewhere for something, it's not as enjoyable. Maybe if it's just me and one other person, but I'm not looking to really buy anything. You'll find things that you don't have, but seeing specific companies bring stuff, that is awesome. And then we got DFW. What is it? It's a really small picture. I was just DFW Comic Con. Oh, okay, that's it. Real little picture of it. This is the one that Matthew thinks. Just kidding, Matthew. DFW Comic Con. Now, I think this is one of those ones that I don't really know who. I don't really know who is who's going to travel far for it, and I could be if Matthew could throw the little wrench down and quit, he probably would. This is the wrong show, DFW Comic Con. I don't know. Well, what is it? I don't know. You know which one I'm talking about. No one else does. No one else is going to do it. He says it's the wrong. I don't know. I typed in DFW Comic Con. I thought that's what you guys did. What am I missing? Let's see. A DFW Comic Con Fan Expo is a great show. Is great. Okay. There's a lot that happened in DFW. Anyway, I don't know. And Matthew, you'd be able to tell me best. You know, when it comes to the DFW show, are there a lot of people from the not from the region that go there? And I don't mean the region as in just Texas, but obviously the states right around it. Well, obviously Joe Fest, we were seeing people come from, all over the world, and obviously all over the country, but all over the world. And we saw a lot of people that they were right there in Dallas, and they came to Joe Fest because I think it's more of a destination. And I don't want to put down that show because I really don't know. So I don't want to put it down at all because, again, to me, it's just everyone was going there. If everyone was going there, I would try and make it out there for once a year. If that's where, everyone went and it was set up the way Joe Fest is, I think that when people come in, to the Joe Fest, that's where they see. But what else is on your, bucket list? Does anyone have anything? I know that I didn't put assembly required. I wanted to kind of leave a couple things. Assembly required is one that I do want to go to. Again, it's a 2-day event, which means I'm driving home on Sunday. It's real easy. It's like about a 9 to 10 hour drive. Just Jeff says some fat ass from Oklahoma goes there, and yes, a lot of people from other countries and from all over the U.S. Okay. And again, I like I said, I'm not trying to insult it because I truly don't know. I know PowerCon, you had a bunch of people, it seemed. I was only there for 1 day, so I wasn't able to sit there and talk with people, But the difference that I saw with PowerCon was everyone left to go to dinner that night, right? No one was really staying there. There was a bar there, but the bar, it had some food, but it didn't have you weren't going to sit down and order meals. And for us, in Augusta, we just walked into town. We went for breakfast, for lunch. We just walked into town, and then, well, I think it's safe to say we all ate a lot of pizza. We ate a lot of pizza there. They had some really good food there too. It'd be nice if the restaurant stayed open fucking past 10:30. Serving food, that would have been pretty damn sweet. But what else is there? What other shows are there? I'm relying on you guys of where you guys want to eventually go. Like I said, I'm just, I definitely want to hit up more. Even though I went to PowerCon, I would like to spend a couple of days at PowerCon getting to know more of the people. Because, again, not everyone's going to be able to make it down to Joe Fest. And, again, San Diego Comic-Con, I think, would be cool because you get to meet a lot of people that maybe some of the bigger guys that you've got to know on YouTube. One thing that you find out is some of these bigger YouTubers, they won't go somewhere unless somebody is paying for it. Now, I hope I never get to be like that. I hope we get to the point where people want to pay for me to come somewhere. That would be pretty fucking cool. But I don't want to ever be that person that says, yeah, maybe one day I'll go if they ever decide to pay for me, because that's just kind of lame. I want to go to San Diego Comic-Con. And yeah, if they were ever like, hey, we want to have this YouTuber here. I don't know why you might have me. Awesome. But it's I want to go there. I'm going to pay my way. Matthew says, DFW has 3 amazing vintage toy stores, so many collectors, and so many options as is easy to get to. And, that's why, again, that Michigan would be awesome if Motor City Comic Con turned into bringing in small independents, because Sergeant Red's is honestly 40 minutes from there, but Big Ben's Comic and Hueso, which also is a very large store, He's 40 minutes away. Time Travelers is probably about 30 minutes away. And then there's the smaller stores that are still really good stores. You could, I mean, I'm telling you guys, man, if you guys ever fucking come into Michigan and you want to spend like 2 days fucking going to different toy stores, I will fucking take my weekend and we can fucking shoot around. I'll take you to a bunch of fucking toy stores. I'm blown away by how many of these toy stores, or I'm blown away by how many of you don't have a decent toy store, let alone a good toy store within driving distance. I have so fucking many. And I mean, if you were watching the streamathon, you know, you got to watch Dee and John walk around the store, and I got to watch the guys that were on there, and their faces are dropping like, "Oh my god, dude!" And I'm watching the comments, and it's something that you just take for granted. And like just Jeff, he fucking drove in. He drove here one day, right, to go to Sergeant Red's. Believe me, it's changed since then. And they've added so much stuff because, well, John is crazy like that. John is crazy like that.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Pop Blender with the $5 super chat. I'd love to go to SDCC, but it's ending. It's going to move after next year, I believe, which is a bummer because I've never been to San Diego or the con. I don't think that's going to happen. I know that there is that rumor, that there is that talk. I really don't think that it's going to. Just my personal opinion, and I could end up being completely wrong, but I have a feeling that something is going to, they're basically saying, hey, stop fucking price gouging the people that are coming here. And what would you rather do? Not price gouge and still get those people in, or just not even have that event? You would be absolutely stupid to allow that to leave, because it is the biggest toy show in the world. Comic and toy show. Yeah, Matthew, it looks the exact same. Well, Punk didn't catch it because not. Yes, I'm not even about to say. Charlotte says, it's only required, just feels like the closest thing I'll get to a hometown con. So I like to see them get more attention. It's a smaller show, but the people make it worth it. I think Assembly Required gets a lot of attention, but you're never going to get attention from other people than Joe people or military-based people, right? But I don't think they're trying to get away from that, right? I believe that's the whole goal, is that they stay there. But I mean, do you guys have, like, most of you, a lot of you live in metropolitan areas. Again, like, I live in Metro Detroit. I know there's people who live in the Chicago area. You guys got to have some pretty good, and I mean, you should have at least one big toy and comic show. Because if we do, I'm assuming Chicago does. I would assume, obviously Dallas does. I was showing it off there. Yeah, but Tony tells me he doesn't really have any good toy stores in his area, which it blows my mind. And it's like, so yeah, if you guys ever come in here, you guys ever take a week trip, you would be blown away by how many fucking good toy stores. The one thing that I will say though, if you want anything, and you're like, well, you just go to Sergeant Red's, and probably, especially now that he has the warehouse, you'd be able to easily be like, all right, well, do you have this? Do you have that? There's a few things that he doesn't carry that I still am kind of shocked by, but I've also talked to him before where he's like, yeah, I'm not really carrying that. And then next thing I know, he has it because he realized there's a market for it. So, and Tripwire says, toy stores are crap here. Yeah, like so. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought, like, there's a few bucket list ones that I want. I mean, for me, going to PowerCon for more than a day, that's Legion's Con is definitely on there. Assembly required, but San Diego Comic Con, if it stays, and I really do think that that stuff will get. I think that stuff will get ironed out. It is definitely someplace that I want to go to. The DFW show doesn't really interest me, other than Matthew lives there, Radnom lives there. So like that doesn't really interest me all that much. I think anyone that I would like, any toy makers there, and again, I'm not an autograph seeker, so that doesn't interest me. I wouldn't want to go somewhere. I'm not going somewhere to looking for for autographs or anything like that. But Ostrom says PowerCon used to be Thunder and PowerCon because it was just Thundercats and Motu, but it grew and just became PowerCon, and that's when people really started looking at it. Yeah, I heard that, and that makes sense. But PowerCon, again, without having the Mattel backing, same as like Joe Fest, it's so fucking weird. Like, hey, we love your product. We're going to do a whole convention. This convention is really fucking big. We would love for you to bring the team. Nope. All right. Well, thanks a lot. Sherlock says, word of mouth and them showing up at Joe Fest made a solid impact. And Matthew asked, who? Yes, Sherlock, who? Oh, yes. Yeah, I think, they, so they were, they had a booth at Joe Fest, and they talked to people. They knew who I was, and they were like, hey, yeah, you should come. And that's not even that far from Detroit. Well, I mean, it is 10 hours. So it's, it's not like PowerCon was 4 fucking hours. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do have to drive through a shithole of Ohio. Which adds, I don't know, like 4 years to your life. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's about it. I think we hit it. Look at that. We got to the topic. Ed, where are you? You should be happy. We hit it at 2.5 hours. So we started talking about it at 11:30. Allison Troy says, with PowerCon, there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. It's not as simple as Mattel not wanting to go so much as a bunch of the behind-the-scenes stuff got sticky and shitty. Again, you make things work. All right? You don't have to showcase stuff. You make things work. The same way with Joe Fest. Like, there is no reason why Hasbro can't say, hey, Lenny, Tony, go book yourself a fucking trip. Go down to fucking Joe Fest. We got you a fucking booth. You're going to sit there. You're going to do a little panel. You're going to talk about classified. You're going to sell it to all these fuckers that want more shit. Because they've created a show for us. PowerCon, same thing. They could sell, send the Mattel guys. Again, unless if the promoter has actually caused a problem, but Oz says your trip to PowerCon was worth Ohio, all of the pleasure of meeting me, and it was one of the best days of your life. It would have been better if I would have stayed. Like, it really, because driving home was awful. I was so, yeah. As I mentioned before, we just came back from Florida the week before, and I drove straight down because it was me and the kids. So it was exhausting. And Ed says he's proud of me for starting by 11:30. But anyway, that's about all that I have time for. Please, Matthew, Ed, drop links to your streams for tomorrow, right? You guys are doing them both tomorrow, so people can tune in. I want you guys to all head on over there. I'm not a team guy and all that. I understand that. But I would like you to head on over and tomorrow watch both of my moderators who work for a moderate salary of nothing here. But luckily, most of you guys aren't yahoos. We've had very few assholes that we've had to kick out. And usually when we've had problems, neither one of them have been here. Which is absolutely hilarious. That the few times when we've had problems, it's because neither moderator was here. But I'm going to get out of here because some of us have to wake up in the morning and go to work because contrary to popular belief, YouTube doesn't pay all that well. And by all that well, I mean I make a little bit of money. Anyway, thank you all. Andrew Taylor says, being an asshole is an option. Why does nobody tell me these things? It is an option. But again, like that one meme or that one reel where it's like, what do they say? It doesn't cost anything to be nice. And they say, well, what does it cost to be an asshole? It's nothing, isn't it? It costs nothing. Take care.